Forget the airwaves broadcast.
Go.
Good morning, Rose Dalton.
So, a century ago, two brothers decided it was possible to fly. And as you can see, they were right.
I get it.
Okay.
Say it again.
A century ago, two brothers decided.
I get it.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry, I thought that was McGraw. I was used to always read. The look of bewilderment on his face.
And then you have to explain it to him, and then he goes, ah. That's my McGraw this morning.
It's before the coffee kicks in. Like, which hits first, the punchline or the caffeine?
He doesn't drink coffee.
McGraw doesn't drink coffee, and he works a night show and a morning show. How does the man survive?
Josh Gilbert filled in for him last night on America at Night.
I saw rave reviews on the text line when I came in this morning. Congrats to Josh. You're
doing well, Josh.
Yeah. I don't know. I see. The reason why I could never be a critic, one of these movie critics or one of these, people who criticizes the arts in a magazine or something. I get too logical. I get too analytical.
Oh, you would have not liked the movie last night then.
What was the movie last night?
Minions and Monsters.
Okay, now that's not meant to be taken in logically.
Oh, absolutely not.
That's just something that everybody can enjoy.
But Max and I were talking during the movie, of course, and we were saying this has no continuity with the other Minions movies. And because it takes place in old-timey Hollywood, which is great. They are very precise and very clever about all of their homages and parodies and stuff of old, early 1920s Hollywood that adults will get and kids will just think is funny.
But that's clever.
It is. It's very it's too clever for its own good, as a matter of fact. But it had a story. And then some of the Minion movies don't have that.
I'll give you an example. Did you guys see Stranger Things, that hit show on Netflix for a while? I spent the first season and a half of that trying to be like, no, wait a minute. Is there a...
This was 1984.
Well, so they were pretty good on some of... Like, they had a lot of the Reagan-Bush placement. Did you notice some of that throughout? It wasn't
on bumper stickers
a lot, but it was just... It's kind of hiding in the background. But on the...
It's the music, mostly.
On the metaphysical stuff, on the intergalactic,
the Demon Flayer wouldn't really wear that. Not in 1984.
Not so much fashion trends, but like, how would the physics of this work? With like the port. I kept trying to get into the logical. Now, hang on, this isn't real. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. One of the reasons, with the caveat, Superman is the better hero, the superhero, than Batman. But the things about Batman that I enjoyed watching, especially the Christian Bale versions with Christopher Nolan, is that it seemed like everything he did was physically possible.
Batman?
Yeah, it was within the realm of possible.
Batman is not a superhero. Batman is a detective.
Yeah. So, somebody described him on one of these social media sites as like just a libertarian thug who just wants to kind of like outsource policing to the rich guys who just dress up in jujitsu suits at night. And
Bruce Wayne is the alter ego, not Batman.
Oh.
Batman is who he is. Bruce Wayne is his fake personality.
No, see, that's interesting. I've always kind of looked at it the other way.
No.
But I wasn't one of the comic book, dedicated followers.
People like Batman more than Superman because Batman doesn't have any superpowers.
Right. It's a little bit more human, whereas how can you relate to Superman?
Can we get this train back on track here, please? I don't even know what we're talking about. So let's, what are we talking about?
Have you heard
You were just going to say that you think of things too logically, right? So you could never be a good
critic.
Yeah.
And then you're about to say something and then...
I think that it's fair game for every conversation in all of mankind to eventually end up with a Batman-Superman comparison. I think that's fair.
Max Foisey would agree with you.
Rose, do you have a preferred superhero?
No.
You could pick out of all of them, all the superheroes out there.
No, I don't. I'll have to think about it. We don't have. I don't even know. I don't know. Superhero. I don't know. Batman, Spider-Man. Who are superheroes?
Spider-Man's kind of a dweeb.
But that's his character.
Yeah. Not a big fan. He gets bit with a bug. I don't know.
I know someone who's named their child Parker.
After Peter Parker?
Yes.
You have to out these people. They should be named and shamed.
He's going to be on the Maxwell movie show in 2 weeks talking about Supergirl with
All right,
Max.
that's close. We haven't fully doxed them. All right. Good morning, everybody. You're listening to the Big 550 KTRS. I'm back in the big chair from McGraw today. Mark Maxwell here. That means for the next few hours at least, this show is either in very capable hands, as it is in Carl's and Rose's, or in my case, maybe the station has made a terrible administrative error. We'll see. Either way, we're here. We're caffeinated. We've got one of those mornings where the rundown looks like, we've got our plates full. Let's say that. We've got NASA trying to save a doomed telescope. It's exactly the kind of story I love. It's got everything.
With like Lego parts.
It's got space. It's got danger, government spending, and a machine with no engine just slowly falling toward Earth. What could go wrong?
Did you refresh SCOTUS blog all day yesterday?
Oh, it was mostly in the morning.
You're going to do it again today too, aren't
Well,
you?
we're going to have some more Supreme Court action today. When you think about just a satellite slowly falling toward Earth, that's not just a science story. That's a metaphor for half the people you work with. Jim Ryan, one of our favorites from ABC News, joins us later this morning, actually just at 6:20, coming up soon, to explain how a $30 million rescue mission is supposed to grab a telescope that apparently has no propulsion, no handles, no hooks, nothing. I mean, they're in worse shape than Ryan Reynolds and Project Hail Mary. Did you ever see that?
It's great. Rocky is the best SFX all year so far.
Second best Rocky to ever hit the screen, the silver screen. But I guess NASA built this space telescope that can see gamma ray bursts from the edge of the universe, but they forgot to put a tow hitch on it. Like, isn't it funny how it's like the Einstein theory? The guy was so smart but forgot to wear socks.
Oops.
You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be Lego-ish the way that they're going to connect to it.
I guess at some point it all comes down to Legos. Later this hour, Stephen Portnoy is going to join us from Washington, where the Supreme Court is closing out the term with some very big decisions. Trump got some wins. Trump got some losses. And today could bring forth rulings on one of his biggest policy proposals yet. Birthright citizenship and the 14th Amendment. Also an expected decision on transgender athletes. In other words, if you woke up hoping for a quiet little Tuesday, congrats. Not today. Also later this morning, Tech Tuesday with Mike Dubusky. Always love that segment. Apple, Microsoft, video games, all getting more expensive. The one thing that might be getting a little bit cheaper, possibly if we read the tea leaves, an electric pickup truck. You think it has crank windows inside?
It doesn't. I have a friend who has one. It's really nice.
It's look, we've reached the future. I mean, eventually, when your grandfather's truck with a battery, it's going to be interesting. Will cars when the Waymo revolution happens and nobody even drives anymore? That's going to be fascinating. We'll get into some of that with Mike Dubusky. Captain Paul Kopsky has traffic. Woods Basement has the weather. Country Club Car Wash text lines open at 84126, so you can stay with us. You can talk with us. Big show today. Space telescopes, Supreme Court drama, overpriced gadgets, and me just trying not to break McGraw's chair before he gets back. Captain Paul Kopsky, good to have you back this morning. How are you?
Pretty good, Mark. How are you?
Doing great. We missed you yesterday, but Connor held it down, and you know what? Everybody got to work. No more big sinkholes.
Yeah, that's right. We do have a little news on the sinkhole, though, Mark.
What's that?
And that is, as you know, 44 opened up on Friday after being closed due to that sinkhole near the dome. But some closures related to that sinkhole remain in place. They include the 70 East Express lanes at Union, the North Broadway exit from 44 West, and Broadway is closed in both directions at North Biddle. Also, the signals are on flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Dangerous heat all the way through the week and even on the 4th of July. A cold front will try to push in here by Sunday. Until then, First Alert weather days for the dangerous heat. A low of 77, a high of 98. Heat index anywhere from 105 to 110 Tuesday with sunny skies. And Wednesday, similar situation, sunny and a high of 98. Heat index 105 to 110 in the afternoon. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
Nothing better than a good couch. Nothing better than a fine dining room table, because that's where all the memories happen. And at Miller Furniture, you can get it all. American-made quality that will last a lifetime. Miller Furniture, their family has been selling St. Louis families furniture for coming up on 100 years. And over the last number of years, their business really has exploded because the furniture business has gone overseas. And what comes back is basically furniture with an Allen wrench. Well, that's really not good furniture. It might look good on a TikTok post, but to use it, no. You got to go get the good stuff, and that's Miller Furniture. They've got 4 area locations. Of course, their first one in Belleville. Then they opened up Lake St. Louis. Then they were in Ellisville off Manchester Road. Their 4th location, Fairview Heights, chock full of American-made furniture and wonderful mattresses. Don't forget about the mattress. If you're looking for a mattress, quality American furniture, accessories, same as cash financing, and now through July 7th, their half-price sale going on right now. MUELLER, MillerFurniture.com.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Calling all Metro East residents. The weather may be unpredictable, but that doesn't mean your home comfort has to be. From emergency heating and cooling emergencies and repairs to new systems and yearly maintenance checks, you can feel confident that you're ready for whatever Mother Nature throws at you with the help from the friends at Viviano. Get quality, reliable service every time, any season. Go to their website, vivianoair.com. That's vivianoair.com. Train, the most reliable name in heating and cooling around. It's hard to stop a train.
Overstock Outlet, the best random store around, with new big box store arrivals daily in Lake St. Louis and Warrenton, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend as we celebrate America's 250th birthday and thank all those that protect our freedom.
Live from Studio 550, this is The McGraw Show on KTRS.
.619 on your Tuesday morning. You're listening to the Big 550 KTRS. There was a time when a broken or failing spacecraft was simply lost to the heavens. But NASA is now attempting a rescue of epic proportion. Here to tell us about it is Jim Ryan. Jim, let me get this straight. NASA built a telescope that can hunt cosmic explosions across the universe.
Yes.
But they forgot to put a trailer hitch on it?
That pretty well sums it up. Or rockets, maybe to keep it out of danger. It doesn't have rockets. It's essentially a camera. This is the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory. It was launched in 2004. And since then, the last 22 years, it's been sending back these amazing images of stars at the end of their lives, these cosmic explosions. You've probably seen some of those pictures, full color. It's pretty fascinating stuff. Problem. According to Regina Caputo of NASA.
If we do nothing, Swift will re-enter the atmosphere And so there's nothing to lose.
Yes, its orbit has been degrading for a lot of reasons. Part of it is just nature, but part of it also is solar flares, Mark, that have been pushing it down. And so its life has been cut short potentially, because if it enters Earth's atmosphere, it's not going to make a soft landing. It's just going to burn up, and we'll lose this space camera.
So for those of us who are not astrophysicists, why is Swift worth saving? What does this telescope do that makes NASA willing to spend $30 million on it?
Well, every image that it sends back, and by the way, it cost $500 million in 2004 money. So they want to try to keep it going as long as possible. But yeah, every image brings back new information about the universe and about how things start and how things end. So yeah, NASA figures, it's worth trying to save it. So here's what they did. They got in touch with a company, a startup called Catalyst, less than a year ago. So in the past 12 months, 9 months actually, Catalyst has come up with a design, a way to deploy a robot up into space to hook on to the Swift Observatory and hoist it up into higher altitude by about 100 miles. So it was supposed to launch this morning about an hour ago, but because of bad weather, they've had to scrub that. It's not even launched in the traditional way, Mark. We're talking about it's loaded into a rocket, essentially, put onto the bottom of what used to be a commercial jetliner, a Lockheed L-1011, that they now call Stargazer. It's taken up to altitude, 35, 40,000 feet, something like that. It dropped from the bottom of the plane. 5 seconds later, the rockets fire. And so it's launched horizontally, right? Off into orbit. 3 stages. It's up in orbit then. It'll track down, it'll hunt down the Swift telescope, figure out a way to hook onto it. You're right, it has no handles or hooks or anything else, and then find a way to hoist it up into higher orbit.
And is it right that it has 3 arms and these little Lego-like hand grippers? Are we talking about a serious piece of space engineering here, or does this thing look as weird as it sounds?
It looks basic. I mean, it really looks, and it's fairly simple, right? All it needs to do is it's got one mission. And that's, well, first of all, it's got to find, and then it's got to connect to, and then it's got to lift this satellite up without damaging the camera somehow. The Hubble Space Telescope is in the same sort of situation, so they'll try that down the road somewhere. But the implications are amazing, Mark. Think about this. You know, they keep saying that the next battleground is going to be in space, right? So this is kind of a test, I think. I suspect that the Pentagon is involved in this as well, as much as NASA is. So if this works, why not send up the 3-armed telescope robot, not to grab a telescope, but to grab a Soviet or a Russian or a Chinese surveillance satellite and mess around with it, lift it out of orbit, turn it around, do something else. You know, the implications are crazy and they're kind of dark.
Yeah, where's R2-D2 when you need them? I mean, if you're thinking about it, all the different satellites that are up there from all the different countries and companies, and you mentioned some of them start to fail. It makes you wonder if we're looking at the beginning of a whole new space race repair program where robots go around like AAA trucks for satellites.
100%. Right. It's going to be a robotic repairman sent up there to do stuff with satellites, to repair and do maintenance. You know, and solar flares are affecting all sorts of satellites. So this kind of technology could be used to save, spare other satellites or to mess with our opponents' satellites.
Now, and did I read this right? There's actually still a 90% chance that Swift burns up if nobody saves it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. By the end of the year, it's going to burn up at some point. But by the end of the year, it's a 90% chance that it's just going to disappear and we won't have those images coming back anymore.
Seems like kind of a nerve-wracking mission, but as you mentioned, there's some speed component here. NASA telling this startup company basically, do it fast, just don't make it worse. I mean, is that the mission statement?
Yeah, more or less, right. $30 million is kind of cheap if you consider that the satellite, you know, the Swift Observatory cost $500 million. So yeah, they'll say, let's give it a shot, see what happens. And yeah, by the way, slip this over to the guys at Defense and see if maybe they can use this technology too.
Interesting. Well, those satellites probably have the best seat in the house for all the July 4th fireworks coming up.
It's gonna be cool.
It really is. Jim Ryan, thanks so much for calling in. Always have a fascinating story. We really appreciate it.
See you, Mark. All
right, that's Jim Ryan. He's the best. ABC News. Man, how'd you like to have that job? Put together a device to go out and bring back this failing satellite that could explode and become a shooting star I'm sorry, what are the parts I'm supposed to work with? Legos?
Or put like a giant magnet on the side of it and then have another giant magnet and just attract it back so it goes meow.
Now, here's a question that my physics teacher would probably flunk me for if they heard me on the air asking it. Do magnets work in space? Carl goes to the keyboard.
Is the furious typing of the Googles.
We're going to go ask the Google.
We're all like, I
feel like they would.
I don't.
According to Copilot, so all of you who hate data centers, this answer.
Sponsored by AI.
Mm-hmm. Yes, magnets work perfectly in space, just as they do on Earth, and they play crucial roles in space applications.
But gravity doesn't apply. So you have some
'Cause there's
forces
nothing
that...
spinning.
Right. And so magnets work on a different sort of force field. That's
Magnets create their own magnetic fields, which do not require a medium to operate.
This is interesting. So I think you're onto something, Rose.
Well, I mean, there's energy in space, right? Yeah, right. We're all for this is whoa.
There's no sound. There's no sound in space either because it's a vacuum. So every space movie you see where they go pew pew pew.
You know what?
That's fake.
This is the morning of tangents. Can I go off on a little tangent? You just said something that reminded me of one of my least favorite figures of speech. And by the way, we can go around the room and take your least favorite figures of speech. You can text 84126. But can we please, for the love of God, retire the phrase, nothing happens in a vacuum? You ever heard politicians say this? This didn't happen in a vacuum. We know that.
And what exactly does that, what is that?
There's no air.
Oh, meaning like this is spreading everywhere. This isn't just happening in one place. Is that what that's supposed to?
I think they're trying to say that like there were other factors that had a play here. It just wasn't isolated. It didn't happen by itself.
There you go.
But like nobody really knows what that means. I think you're right. Like it's kind of just a weird figure of speech.
I think it sucks.
I'm not here to pick on Mayor Spencer, but she just uses that all the time. If we had a bingo card, the two most common things for her would be I see what you did there. The two most common things for her would be, you know what? That's a great question. Let me get back to you on that one. And number two would be, this didn't happen in a vacuum. Okay. Let's expire that one.
Corporate speak. Let's circle back around to what you said on the blah, blah, blah. Or I want to piggyback on what I love the corporate speaks.
Per my previous email.
Oh, no.
We didn't mean to send that email.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah, I love it when corporate accidentally presses send a little too early, and then the cat's out of the bag.
We meant to tell the staff first, but instead we told the world.
That's like when the NFL player finds out they've been traded from TV.
Inside sources say.
I'm supposed to pack my bags? Thanks a lot, ESPN. Anyway, we're having a morning here on Tuesday. We hope you are too. Captain Paul Kopsky is getting you to work a little quicker by helping you navigate those hurdles on the roadways from the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
Mark in Wentzville 70 West is slow between Route Z and David Hochul Parkway. One lane of 64 will be closed eastbound from Grand to Tucker from 9 o'clock this morning until 3 o'clock this afternoon for road work. And the signals are on flash right now at Gravois and Hickey. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. It is 78 degrees here at 6:30. A Ukrainian business tycoon is believed to have been the target of an explosive device in Monaco. The explosion late Monday seriously injured 3 people before the suspect fled into France. The Supreme Court on Monday dramatically expanded presidential power, upholding President Donald Trump's firings of the heads of independent federal agencies, with one important exception, the Federal Reserve. The justices allowed Fed Governor Lisa Cook to stay in her job while she fights the Republican president's effort to fire her over allegations of mortgage fraud, which she has denied. In local headlines, St. Louis County will celebrate America's 250th anniversary today. The festivities include a ceremonial flag raising and patriotic display in Memorial Park at 11 this morning. And Shiloh is getting a new police station. Representative Jay Huffman joined local leaders, police, and community members yesterday for the ceremonial groundbreaking of a new police station along Oak Street. Huffman, along with Senator Christopher Belt, helped secure $4 million in state funding to support the project. 78 degrees. Time now is 6:30. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
The 2026 Stages season continues. They just finished up the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee to rave reviews. Now they're going to take a step back to the 40s and the 50s with the timeless classic Guys and Dolls. The show will start on July 24th and it'll run through August. And then they'll wrap up the season with Come From Away, a true story, one that is one of the most inspirational stories about 9/11. You'll not want to miss this one. Stages presents Come From Away, the first time it's at Stages. It'll start September 18th. 4 tickets, group tickets, individual tickets. You need to see these shows. It's wonderful, wonderful live theater right here in St. Louis. Stages has done it right all these many years. Go to stagesstlouis.org. That's stagesstlouis.org. And if you haven't seen Come From Away, do yourself a favor. Bring a friend, make a night of it, have dinner. stagesstlouis.org.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation for foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing. Choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's Permajack of stlewis.com. Permajack, solid as rock.
Josh Gilbert, along with my co-host of Keep What's Yours, Jeff Sufal. He's the senior tax strategist and wealth advisor at Capital Advisory Group and author of the #1 best-selling books on taxes, Keep What's Yours, and the new one, Keeping What's Yours. Jeff, interest rates could be on the rise. Now's the time for a tax strategy?
Thanks, Josh. Since 1976, thousands of businesses have relied upon the tax reduction strategies provided by Capital Advisory Group to help them manage the effects of inflation and rising interest rates to keep more of what they earn. We're celebrating 50 years helping small businesses grow and thrive by minimizing the financial risk to their businesses, reducing their tax liability, and growing their wealth using strategic tax planning. The Fed is hinting that inflation and interest rates will continue to rise in the months ahead. If you're relying upon investment advice from someone who isn't familiar with your tax strategy and you feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, we can help.
Give Capital Advisory Group a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
Choose Pella of St. Louis for window and door replacement to help enhance your home. For a limited time, get 20% off pellet projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
.36 on your Tuesday morning. Carl, the intern, spinning the records in the studio this morning. And Rose Dalton, dare I say, getting jiggy with it? Well, the dance moves in here. I wish we had the YouTube cameras on.
I guarantee no one's ever gotten jiggy to the Little River Band before. But happy birthday, Glenn Schrock, who's singing this song right now. 81 today.
Oh, yeah. A light 81. Nice. You'll love to hear it.
Still touring, but not with Little River Band. In fact, Little River Band is an Australian band who currently have no members from Australia.
Well, then they're just a band.
Some would say they're a cover band.
Congrats to them. Happy birthday. What do we have here? We have some popcorn in the studio this morning.
Max and I saw Minions and Monsters last night.
Oh, that was so you went and saw it at the theater?
Yes.
Now I'm with you.
And then this box is from our friend Katie Jamboretz, who 2 weeks ago had Frank and Jill every Thursday have restaurants come in. And they had St. Charles Community College come in and talk about their chef's program. And I said to Katie, you didn't bring any food. And she's like, well, this is a teaching program. I'm like, have the students make something.
Teach them how to make food.
And then Katie J came back yesterday and said, Carl, I brought you some food.
What a treat.
It even has my name on it.
Did your high school have like home ec? Did you learn how to cook or anything in school?
The girls did. The guys didn't go to that class.
Did you have shop? So
yes,
did you go to co-ed high school?
Yes.
Okay. And Carl, you went to all boys?
I went Christian Brothers College High School, CBC, and the old Clayton campus. We had mechanical engineering, which was shop. But I was in the military program, so you didn't have to take shop if you took.
So we had a wood shop starting in high school. You could take wood shop 1, 2. Like I think you can go all 4 years if you really wanted to. And there was an Amish guy who was the instructor for a long time. Now, he retired like my freshman year, but this guy, his last name was Yoder, which I take to be a very Amish name.
Yeah.
And he had 2 fingers missing.
Always.
You can't make it up. Like he had his what would you call this? The third and like the pinky finger and the ring. Yeah, I guess it's the ring finger on his left hand were both missing at the first knuckle because he lost them in a bandsaw one year.
Sure. I think that's a rite of passage. I mean, it's like a gym teacher wearing Umbros. It's in smells of Old Spice.
So what they did was they took the shape of his hand and they carved it out. They etched it out, like they stenciled the shape of his hand, and they used it to carve a piece of wood in the shape of his hand. And then you would use that like 2-fingered piece of wood to push your wood through the bandsaw.
Wow.
To protect your fingers.
It's like a nice tribute.
A constant reminder that, hey, this thing is serious.
Did you call it the Yoder?
I'm sure they had all kinds of names for it. That class was instructive. I made a clock in like the 10th grade. I think it still hangs in my dad's office somewhere. And then 11th and 12th grade, we took a class called Mechanical Arts where you learn how to change the oil and change the brakes.
We didn't learn any of that. I was lamenting the fact the other day. I went to an all-girls. Teach me those things, how to change, change a tire, change oil, sew some clothes, bake a cake, all the basic life skills stuff. I would have much rather spent time learning that than the classes I'm not using anymore.
I think it was like halfway through the second semester when it finally dawned on us students that we were actually the child labor.
Oh, you guys were
They were like, we were changing the brakes of the teachers' cars. Awesome. Like, hey, here's one of the perks. You don't make much as a teacher. Pull your car into the mech art shop, and the sophomores will fix it up for you.
And would you want to drive that car after the sophomores?
I don't know how many teachers had a shaky ride home. I will tell you one story, though. My first car, 1986 Nissan 300Z, a candy apple red T-tops turbo stick shift. Oh, man, it was my grandmother's car. Yeah. And I learned later after I bought it from her for $1,600. I was 14 years old, bought it from her for $1,600. I learned like a couple years later, she told me, she's like, yeah, I was going to give it to you for free, but your dad insisted that you have to pay for it.
Fantastic. At 14 years old, you wanted to buy a car?
Well, because when I was about to turn 15 and a half, and that's when I can get my learner's permit and I can start driving. Wow. So I bought it, kept it in the garage, kind of fixed it up a little bit. In the meantime, we bought a old little like beat up 1991 Toyota Corolla that was also a stick shift. Mm-hmm. And we put it in the backyard.
Rose loves that.
Because we had a big, long acre of a backyard, and I had to learn how to drive a stick shift, but I couldn't go on the roads. So my dad let me drive this old Toyota Corolla in the backyard, and I would just do laps. It was like a little NASCAR track back there with a Toyota Corolla in a grass field. So fast forward a couple years, and my grandmother's car that I had bought, this great sports car, great first car to have as a teen. It has engine problems and the oil and the whole thing. So the car is basically busted. And so now I'm heartbroken. And I'm out there on the open market looking for another car just like it. And wouldn't you know it, it's really hard to find a 1986 Nissan 300Z. So she had kept it in great shape in the Southwest where there's no ice and salt. Cars aren't rusting from the bottom out. But eventually I found a 1987 Nissan 300Z, and I'm like, oh, this is the next best thing. Now, between 86 and 87, and I'm going down a rabbit trail here, I totally know it. They took this car from like, the regular odometer and with a needle that would go slow, and they totally made it look like the inside of a spaceship. Everything was electronic. And I get the car, and the first time I go to change the brakes, I put the jack under the car, and it just goes right through the rusted floorboard.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, man. This car had been kept in Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland area, had been on salty roads and ice, and like just did not hold up the same way that a car did that was kept in a dry climate. So that car ended up becoming the like crash course in don't buy a lemon. Wow. Because I was going to change the brakes. I remember I was actually I think I was working and I was going to college. I didn't have a lot of time to change the brakes myself. I was going to drop it off at a mechanic's house to have him change the brakes. This is how bad the brakes had gotten. I pulled up in the guy's driveway, and right as I did, I heard a clink, clink, and like a weird noise. There had been some grinding on the brakes. Two of the brake pads, I can't make it up, literally fell off of the rotor.
In his driveway.
In his driveway. Like I had fun. Imagine if that had happened 2 blocks prior. I would have no way to stop.
So he believed you that you had brake problems?
He's like, I think you got another couple miles on this thing. No, I literally ran that car into the ground. And then, yeah, that was a little trip down memory lane there. Hey, we're celebrating the 250th birthday of the country this year. You guys remember that old Johnny Cash song, Ragged Old Flag?
Yes.
More of a lyrical recitation.
It's more like a
poem.
Speak singing.
But the flag in that song isn't just some decoration hanging off the porch. It's been through wars, arguments, heartbreak, funerals, parades, bad presidents, good people, dumb people, and somehow it's still there flapping around like, yeah, I've seen all you people lose your minds before. Well, here we are heading into another 4th of July, and the Associated Press has this new poll that says the flag itself has become something of a Rorschach test for America. You see one thing, your neighbor sees another. Your uncle sees freedom, your niece sees hypocrisy. Some people put 3 of them on the house. Some people say there's no chance that thing's going up where I live. The story the AP writes starts in Detroit with 2 black Americans that live just a few miles apart. One guy's named Jerry Esters. He flies 3 American flags outside his home. He says his great-great-grandmother was born into slavery, and now he owns a beautiful home in a neighborhood where black families once could not buy. To him, that flag says, we fought our way here. Just a few miles down the road, Yvonne Pistaccini says, nope, not here. She says the America she sees now is not the country she grew up believing in. That's what makes this story kind of stand out to me as we approach how Americans experience America. This is not just red team, blue team. It's not just angry cable news noise. These are two people with deep roots in the same city, the same broader regional history, both looking at the same flag, and they see two completely different Americas. The poll itself, where they went out and asked hundreds and hundreds of people, it says about half of adults fly the flag at least during a holiday or most of the year. About 7 in 10 Republicans do. And then about 6 in 10 Democrats and independents say they never fly it. And among Democrats under 45, it's 75% who say they never fly the flag. So the question for the 84126 Country Club Car Wash text line this morning is pretty simple. When you see the American flag, what do you actually see? Freedom, failure, progress, exclusion? A country still worth fighting for, or a symbol that's been claimed by somebody else? Because Johnny Cash sang about that flag like it had taken a beating and kept standing. But the question now is whether Americans can still look at the flag and recognize each other underneath it. Interesting question for you. So we'll be taking your texts all morning. Let's check in with Captain Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
Mark, no accidents, but 270 North is busy between Doherty Ferry and Manchester. 30 East is slow between Ronning and 270 in Sunset Hills. Checking some drive times, it's just a 6-minute ride from 70 at the Blanchette Bridge to the airport, 9 minutes to go from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson, and a 7-minute drive from 170 and St. Charles Rock Road down to 64. Also, the signals are on flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
Oh, the dangerous heat wave rolls on, and this pattern is not going to change anytime soon. So, sunshine today, up to 98 this afternoon, but it will feel like 107, even hotter, out in the full sun. Clear skies tonight, but little relief from the heat, 79 for the low in St. Louis. A nearly identical day tomorrow, 98 Wednesday afternoon, with a top heat index of 106. Some spotty storms possible from Thursday through the 4th of July, with the heat finally backing down, we think, Sunday into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
Okay, you just found out they're getting married, and they're so excited. They got to plan everything for the wedding. What are you doing for the flowers? Can I tell you about Walter Knoll? Did you ever go to a wedding where there's Walter Knoll is in charge of the flowers? You will notice that that wedding is just a little bit nicer. And why is that? Because Walter Knoll has a wedding department that is designed specifically for that. The church, the rehearsal dinner, the reception afterwards, the centerpieces, all of that, plus more, is incorporated when it comes to Walter Knoll. They know exactly what they're doing because they've been doing it for a long time. And the next time you walk into a wedding, somebody will know, oh, this is a Walter Knoll wedding, of course. Look at the centerpieces. Look at the beautiful flowers at the altar. That's what Walter Knoll Florist is known for. So if you have a wedding in the future or any occasion that needs flowers, 1-800-341-ROSE, 1-800-341-ROSE, or WKF.com. Or, for no reason at all, Walter Knoll. Better flowers, better pricing. Let Walter Knoll be your family florist.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties. I want to buy your home. Any property, any condition, and always as is. I will pay top dollar with no contingencies and no inspections. You walk away with cash. So don't waste time and money making repairs and paying real estate commissions. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. Or go to robangproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
For 6 generations, the name Edwards has stood for unwavering trust in wealth management. At Benjamin F. Edwards, we're fiercely independent and remain committed to putting our clients first. America's the greatest nation on earth, and this 4th of July, we want to thank all those that have sacrificed, protected, and continue to protect America's independence for 250 years.
Member SIPC. This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
.651 this Tuesday morning, and it's school's out for the summer for the Supreme Court. On this final day of the term, the justices not just clearing out their desks, they're weighing the questions at the center of American power and identity. Stephen Portnoy joins us from D.C. with the rulings already handed down, the ones still to come, and what they all might mean far beyond those marble steps of the court. Stephen, before we get into these individual cases, how would you characterize the court's general message Monday? Was it a check on President Trump? Was it an expansion of presidential power? How would you describe it?
Well, it was a mixed bag. I think that when we're looking at the power of the president to fire people, broadly speaking, conservatives line up behind what's called the unitary executive theory, the idea that all power in the Constitution in Article 2 vests from the president on down, that if Congress sets up an agency such as the Federal Trade Commission with the intent of having bipartisan leadership atop that agency, in reality today, each of those agencies serves the administration's purposes, advances administration policy, enforces law on behalf of the administration, and therefore the president should have the power to choose who serves in those posts and the power to remove people if they disagree with his views on any particular issue or even their philosophy. And so it calls into question, how it's going to be possible for these agencies to truly have a bipartisan nature going forward if you have a president who is, intent on putting loyalists in these posts to carry out his administration's, policies. But nevertheless, that's the ruling of the court yesterday, 6-3, with the conservatives getting behind Chief Justice John Roberts' opinion. What is separate, though, different, and in the legal realm controversial, is the other opinion that Chief Justice Roberts wrote, which had a 5-4 ruling with Brett Kavanaugh and the liberals making up the 5-member majority. The 4 other conservatives were in dissent. And what the court held here is that when it comes to the Federal Reserve, that entity is so special, so important to maintain its independence from a particular administration, that the president cannot remove a Federal Reserve Board governor for any reason. That the for-cause standard in the law when it comes to the Fed governors, that actually means something, and it has to apply in the case of Lisa Cook, who's a Fed governor appointed by Joe Biden 4 years into her 14-year term. It's alleged, she denies it, but it's alleged she committed mortgage fraud when she applied for a loan. And Bill Pulte, who's now the acting national intelligence director, but also has been the mortgage watchdog, says she ought to be indicted. She has not been indicted, and none of these allegations have been tested in court. The Supreme Court yesterday said that Lisa Cook is entitled to a chance to respond to these allegations, and therefore she cannot yet be removed.
So if you got your hands on the levers of the economy, you're protected. But if your job is to regulate big companies forming into monopolies or the airwaves or the environment, you're at will.
Yeah, I think you've got that right. Despite whatever you might read in the statute that says, that you can only be removed for this reason, or that reason. And the way the court is approaching it is, well, what does this agency actually do? Does the Federal Reserve serve the purposes of the administration? The court says in this case, no, and it ought not to. Because if a president has the power to say, I'm going to lower interest rates, vote for me, well, then all of a sudden our economy will be very similar to the economies of failed countries where currencies, bounce all over the place. And the court is intent on preventing that from happening here.
Politics is always an interesting case study in examining the tension between long-term and short-term interest, self-interest, and public interest. All that aside, and all the political science and theory aside, there was the other question about the late arriving mail ballots. And Stephen Portnoy is joining us this morning from ABC News to tell us about this. The court upheld the counting of ballots postmarked by Election Day. How significant is that ruling for states heading into this year's midterms?
Well, I think, look, it's status quo when it comes to states that allow for late arriving ballots, such as Mississippi, although it's possible that the people in Mississippi might decide to change the law now, but because the Republicans certainly oppose this concept and they control the state of Mississippi. But when it comes generally to the idea, no significant change ahead of the November election. What it does do, though, is it gives the president more reason to call for the passage of what he calls the Save America Act, which would adopt reforms to mail-in absentee ballots all across the country, basically disallowing them except for a few exceptions, such as travel or military service. And, many states in the country have opened this door to voting by mail. Some states vote entirely by mail. And what do you do in that circumstance? So the court yesterday said that there's nothing in current law at the federal level that prohibits the collection of mail-in ballots after Election Day, as long as they've been postmarked by Election Day. Republicans said the law says that there is an Election Day. How can that not mean that all the ballots have to be received by the day and counted on that day? And the Supreme Court said, well, that's not how we read the law, and that's not what the law says.
And Stephen, I'm watching really closely this birthright citizenship case. There's some local history here. It wasn't just President Grant who helped pass the 14th Amendment. That was General Grant, who led the Union Army at a big outpost here in St. Louis. We've got Grant's Farm nearby, a statue of President Grant on the front of City Hall here in St. Louis. Just before we let you go, can you give us some sense of the historical meaning of the 14th Amendment, and what do you expect from the court on that decision today?
Well, the 14th Amendment says that all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. The noted exception in the Supreme Court's jurisprudence goes back to the late 1800s when they looked at the case of a child of Chinese immigrants at the time. And in that era, Chinese people were banned from entering the country under the Chinese Exclusion Acts. And the question was a San Francisco-born son of someone who's here essentially illegally, is that person a citizen or not? The Supreme Court ruled in the late 1800s that yes, because this man, Won Kim Ark, was born in the U.S., he is an American citizen, regardless of essentially the legal status of his parents. And that, for the last 130-odd years, has been the understanding, that if you're born here, you are a citizen, with the exception of the children of diplomats. This administration says, well, what that does is it opens the doors not only to people who might travel here, such as birth tourists, as they call them, people with means who might come from China or other countries and give the birth to their children here so that one day they can have an American passport, bring the whole family over. And then there's the notion of, this is a derogatory term, but they use it. They call it anchor babies, the idea that you can come here, have a child, and therefore you have claims to stay, and you can fend off, best you can, deportation, even though this administration tried really hard to get around that. The point is that most legal experts we've heard from say they do not believe that the president has the power with the stroke of a pen to sign an order that reinterprets the 14th Amendment after all this time. The thinking probably is the court's going to say, if you want to change the law, go ahead and have a vote in the Congress, maybe have an amendment to the Constitution, have it ratified by 2/3 of the states, or 3/4 of the states, and good luck to you.
We'll be watching closely. Stephen Portnoy, thanks as always.
You bet.
Let's get right over to Captain Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center for the look at the roads.
Mark, no accidents, but 270 north is jammed between Doherty Ferry and Manchester, where there's a stalled vehicle, and we'll have more for you next hour.
This is the Big 550, KTRS St. Louis, the station you have depended on for 3 decades. We are the talk of St. Louis.
Hot town, summer in the city.
KTRS St. Louis.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver a couple more big decisions today, including a ruling on whether President Trump has the power to block the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship Here's ABC's Karen Waugh.
Trump's order would deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. to parents who are undocumented or only in the U.S. temporarily. Even some of the conservative justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's case during arguments in the spring. Also today, the justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams.
A federal judge in Washington, D.C. also hearing arguments today in a lawsuit filed against the Trump administration's ban on transgender service members. After President Trump said the Iranians had called him asking for more ceasefire talks, envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner flew to Doha, where the Iranians now say there are no face-to-face meetings scheduled, only discussions with mediators. Bad weather in the South Pacific postponing NASA's first-of-its-kind project launch. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on what the mission is.
Since 2004, the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory has been sending back amazing images of stars at the end of their lives, but it's suddenly dropping out of its orbit.
If we do nothing, Swift will re-enter the atmosphere
And burn up, says NASA's Regina Caputo.
and so there's nothing to lose.
An aerospace startup called Catalyst has been hired to design and deploy a robot to hook up to the Swift telescope and haul it approximately 100 miles higher, extending its life by a decade. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
As the European heat wave dissipates, the United States is now getting the brunt of the sun. Triple-digit temperatures in the Midwest on Monday. Today, that dome moving eastward. Philadelphia, New York, and Boston could all hit 100 degrees or higher this week. The rescue mission has become a recovery mission in Venezuela, where more than 1,700 people are confirmed to have died in the twin earthquakes. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's talk Neighbors Credit Union, because at Neighbors Credit Union, when you borrow money from Neighbors Credit Union, they will reduce the interest rate. That's a pretty good deal. It's the Home Everything line of credit. You can use that money for home improvements, vacations, education, even debt consolidations. And when you borrow the money from Neighbors Credit Union, what are they going to do? They're going to reduce the interest rate for the first 12 months. So you get a low introductory rate for 12 months. Makes it easier to pay it back. Let's say you want to put money into the credit union. Neighbors Credit Union will increase the amount they'll pay you for your money. That's the smart loan. When you put it in, you get 10% APY on the first $1,000. So not a bad deal. That's what Neighbors do. They take care of you. They have 8 area locations, and to find the one nearest you, all you need to do is go online, neighborscu.org. Whether it's the Home Everything loan, whether it's a smart account for anybody under 22 years old, Neighbors is the place to go. neighborscu.org.
Don't miss summer. Start your next adventure at Byerly RV. All June long, you can save up to $500 on all in-stock RVs during our RV savings event. Plus, to celebrate National Go RVing Day, we're turning up the savings. Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th only, you can save up to $5,000 on select RVs. Don't wait to start making memories. Your next adventure is just a drive away. Visit Byerly RV in Eureka, Missouri, or shop online at ByerlyRV.com.
Overstock Outlet, the best random store around, with new big box store arrivals daily in Lake St. Louis and Warrenton, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend as we celebrate America's 250th birthday and thank all those that protect our freedom.
78 degrees at 7:03. Here's what's happening now. St. Louis city leaders will address data center zoning rules. A Board of Aldermen committee will hold a public hearing today on a bill that would create the city's first comprehensive zoning rules for data centers. The proposal would establish new zoning guidelines for where data centers can be built, along with operating standards for those facilities. The meeting is scheduled for 11 this morning. The chief of police is again calling for a downtown curfew in St. Louis on the 4th of July after a shooting near Energizer Park this past weekend. Thousands attending a City 2 match were forced to shelter in place after shots were fired at an apartment complex just a few blocks away from the stadium. Following the shooting, Police Chief Robert Tracy has requested the city implement an 8 p.m. curfew during 4th of July festivities downtown and in downtown West. It comes as the city prepares for Celebrate St. Louis at the Gateway Arch, an event that has been the site of multiple violent incidents in recent years. Voters wanting to do their homework before the August 4th primary can now dig into the voter guide compiled by the St. Charles County Election Authority. KTRS's Brendan Weezy has the story.
The voter guide for each political party contains responses from candidates as well as the full ballot language approved by the Missouri Secretary of State. Each candidate on the ballot was given the opportunity to submit a biography and goals to inform voters. The voter guide is available online at sccmo.org/voterguide. Meanwhile, the August 4th primary is projected to draw 40% of the registered voters in St. Charles County compared to 25% for a typical August primary. The last time a 40% voter turnout happened in St. Charles County for an August primary was in 2018, when a contentious labor issue, right to work, was on the ballot. Brendan Weesey, KTRS News.
Boeing's sixth-generation fighter jet will be assembled in North County. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held yesterday for the brand-new Advanced Robotic Coding Center at Boeing's Berkeley site, where the fighter jet will be built. It's expected to bring more jobs to the area. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, a place for all your floral needs, and you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. 78 degrees. Time now is 7:06. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
All right, this next story is why politics is the dumbest story and the dumbest business in America. And I say that with love, right? Politics keeps the checks coming for me. It's job security. I get to write about it. I get to talk about it. So I say that with love. But if you check out west, and I mean way out west, all the way in Alaska, there's an interesting story in politics there. Voters are going to the polls with their snowshoes and however else they get there. And apparently the ballot is being sponsored by Abbott and Costello. You've got...
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third. You've got Republican Senator Dan Sullivan, remember the name, running for re-election. Fine, that's normal. Then comes another guy named Dan Sullivan, also running as a Republican, also on the ballot. And the Alaska Supreme Court says, yeah, we'll allow it. So now voters in Alaska get to play the most terrifying election game show ever. Which Dan Sullivan did you mean?
Wait, there's no like Dan B. Sullivan and Dan L. Sullivan?
That would be the way to go.
No. Okay, here you are. How many politicians' middle names do you know?
Most presidents.
What's B's?
Yeah, Rutherford B. Hayes. We knew. Yeah, do you call him B? George W.
FDR. George W.
Okay,
Donald
all right.
J. Trump.
JFK. All right, there's a couple.
Joe Robinette Biden.
Abraham Lincoln's middle name. Go.
Bob.
Yeah.
Abraham.
But this isn't a Senate race anymore. It's like a hotel check-in desk. Hi, I'm here for Dan Sullivan. Great, sir. Dan S. Sullivan, Dan J. Sullivan, Dan Sullivan, the senator.
So you're being serious? Like literally it has two Dan Sullivans, both Republican, both running for the same office, spelled the exact same.
Same
and there's
spelling.
No differential. And they're like, yeah, sure, not a problem.
Yeah. And here's the best part. This produces the safest endorsement in political history. Right? I proudly endorse Dan Sullivan. That's it. You're covered.
Well, so how are they going to know which Dan Sullivan is the victor?
Well, that's the one the president has endorsed.
Yeah. Well, I think what she's saying is, how will the election officials know which ballot counts for which one? I'm guessing it's by ballot position, top or bottom.
Dan Sullivan won. Which one? Dan Sullivan.
I declare victory as Dan Sullivan.
What?
You can't lose.
Whoa.
If you're endorsing Dan Sullivan, all you got to do, you can go on every radio station, every TV hit, every church picnic, every Moose Lodge. I assume they have those out there in Alaska. Elks Lodge out there. And you can just say, I stand with Dan Sullivan. Congratulations. You've endorsed half the ballot.
Are there pictures? Does
on the ballot?
Woman. It's Danielle.
Danny.
So here's where it gets interesting. The incumbent, the people who, this is his job, right? He's a U.S. senator. And his folks say this is a sham. It's a dirty trick. It's a scheme to try and confuse voters to help the Democrat, Mary Peltola. Okay. The other Dan Sullivan says, no, I'm a real candidate. I followed the rules. I'm entitled to run. Democrats say, hey, don't look at us. And the court basically says, we're not the name police. Honestly, that's kind of where it gets interesting, because I know it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a prank someone came up with at 1:30 in the morning at the local bar after 3 bourbons and a podcast about ranked choice voting. But the legal question here is real. Can the government throw somebody off the ballot because officials think their candidacy smells funny? Or is it up to voters to have to figure that out for themselves?
Legit question, though, without the legalities of it, just for pure clarity, I guess, transparency, like, I
They
can't.
have-
Why would they allow two people with the same exact name with
There's
no?
no law
On
against
what
it.
basis would you stop them?
Hey, this is blowing my mind because I would just be like, add an L for the love of.
They
you
have
know,
to
or
have had
put
this
some-
problem before.
Also, you want to have your mind blown again? Abraham Lincoln had no middle name.
That's why I asked
Did
it.
you know that
Yes.
already?
As a
That's 'cause
proud
you're
member
Illinois.
of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential History and Museum and Library, yeah, I did
No,
know
his
that.
middle name is Ham. His first name is Abra. Right?
Abe Ham Lincoln.
Abra.
I'm Dan Sullivan, and I approve this message.
Well, I want to see. Are there campaign commercials?
We should put them next to each other. No, I'm Dan Sullivan, and I approve this message.
Right.
So the other Dan Sullivan is saying he's not a stalking horse. He was not brought in to get Democrat votes.
Well, right. He's like, I'm a real candidate.
Oh, and so Dan Sullivan, the one Dan Sullivan is the incumbent, right?
Yeah.
And so here comes this other Dan Sullivan.
The challenger.
Challenger
So
Dan.
Will they put a star by his name to know that he's the incumbent? Because sometimes they do
Oh,
that.
Maybe that's how you know.
So if he wasn't an incumbent, it was just two, right? Would that be the issue?
Well,
'Cause you're
Alaska
right.
does have ranked choice voting, which is a little different. So that means the top 4 advance. So there's a real chance that both Dan Sullivans end up
Make it to the general?
in the general election. So at that point, forget the yard signs. You need name tags and you need photos. Like you need to fingerprint the candidate. Forget the voter. Like we need ID on the candidates.
Wow.
So we salute you, Alaska, where the bears are dangerous.
So can I go to Kelsey and bet that Dan Sullivan is going to win?
Yeah.
What are the odds of
would
mine?
It's a winning bet.
Yeah. Well, it might not be if Mary Peltola, the Democrat, wins. But you know what this reminds me of? This is, do you remember the name Mike Madigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illinois
the House
politician.
Speaker?
The former Speaker of the
former
House, the longest
disgraced-
tenured Speaker in American history.
Yeah.
Served for 50 years, 38 of them as Speaker of the House.
And then he served more.
And he was, well, now he's serving a different kind of term.
Yeah.
He's in the federal clink. But the Speaker of the House also ran the Illinois Democratic Party, and he ran it like Capone. I mean, when it came time, they would do all the dirty tricks in the book. For example, in the south side of Chicago, if there was a heavily Latino district, he would make sure that if some new challenger was running against his favorite candidate, say the challenger's name was George Lopez, I'm making something up, he would literally
that's
have
a real guy.
But he would have another similarly sounding Hispanic named candidate with all the petitions waiting and ready in line to drop his name and insert his candidacy to basically run as a foil to just split the Latino vote, the Hispanic vote. This was a real thing. This is next level in Alaska. Dan Sullivan on Dan Sullivan.
Okay, so the text line beat me to it, but it is Dan S. Sullivan, and the challenger is Daniel J. Sullivan. So their middle names are on the ballot. Their middle initials are on the ballot.
What if
But
you just get confused?
yeah.
I wouldn't remember. I have to
S or
remember my
J.
politician's favorite or their middle name. I don't know.
So would it be fair to say though that you probably could not have no
If they were both S?
Yes, if it was literally Daniel spelt the same, S Sullivan spelt the same.
This reminds me of 2022. You guys remember when Donald Trump endorsed Eric?
Yes, because he didn't want to choose between Eric Schmidt or
Eric Greitens. Remember that? There was the Republican Senate race here in Missouri. And think of that. There was a time just 4 years ago when Eric Greitens, the disgraced former governor, was that close to becoming your next senator that Donald Trump couldn't pick. So he goes, I proudly endorse Eric. And I was at the Schmidt campaign when that tweet or whatever it was, Truth Social, came out. Mm-hmm. And even the people in Schmidt's campaign, like his most ardent supporters, the true faithful who take pictures next to a cardboard cutout of Trump, were like equally laughing at the comedy of it and like groaning at the fact that Trump couldn't pick between Eric Greitens and their guy.
Wow.
And now Eric Schmidt's, one of Trump's besties, right? They're arm in arm, just skipping around Capitol Hill together.
You saw him yesterday, yeah?
I did. They dragged us out to Berkeley and Boeing and stood us in the hot sun for a good hour. Not complaining. Most people have, people that work outdoors 8 hours a day have it a lot tougher than I did.
But you're a ginger.
I did get a little bit of a sunburn. Yeah. One of the reasons I'm wearing a trusty hat in the studio this morning. All right, Captain Paul Kopsky is standing by in the Country Club car. Nope, that's the other thing. That's the text line. He's in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center with an eye on the roads. Good morning, Captain Paul.
Good morning, Mark. A stalled vehicle on 270 North at 64 has been moved to the shoulder with traffic still heavy back past Big Bend. 270 West is crowded from Illinois 111 to 203. 30 East slow between Ronning and 270 in Sunset Hills. And the signals are on flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Dangerous heat all the way through the week and even on the 4th of July. A cold front will try to push in here by Sunday. Until then, First Alert weather days for the dangerous heat. A low of 77, a high of 98. Heat index anywhere from 105 to 110 Tuesday with sunny skies. And Wednesday, similar situation. Sunny and a high of 98. Heat index 105 to 110 in the afternoon. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
Country Club Car Wash is having their summer sparkler promotion now through July 12th. Buy 2 ultimate washes and get 2 free. That's a total of 4 ultimate exterior washes for only $52. That's a pretty sweet deal. Now, if you want to get the inside cleaned, you can buy 2 and get 2. So 2 ultimate exterior washes with interior cleaning. Buy 4. That's only $92. Again, that's a pretty sweet deal as well. Look, you have a nice car. Why not get it cleaned? And why not do it at Country Club Car Wash? They're all attached to Mobile on the Runs. There's 5 of them, and they all give back to the community. It's all owned by one local owner, and that's why Country Club Car Wash is your local car wash. Make sure it says country, because if it ain't country, it ain't Country Club Car Wash. Check out their summer sparkler promotion, either in-store or online, cccwstl.com/summer-sparkler. Country Club Car Wash. We'll see you there.
St. Louis, temperatures are rising, and if your AC isn't blowing cold enough, trust the experts at AAA Home Services. For 56 years, they've been fixing it right the first time. Our expert technicians are qualified to work on any system with any issue. We can even perform your annual maintenance on your air conditioner before it gets too hot. And if you need an estimate on a new system, we can do that too. For 56 years, St. Louis has trusted AAA for heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and appliance repair needs. Call 636-397-3200. Online at AAASTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Gilmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Gilmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
It's the half price sale at Miller Furniture and Mattress, going on now through July 7th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, save half off our list price on all in-stock items and get up to 60 months special financing.
Right now, it's half price on all Chatham & Wells mattresses when you purchase an adjustable base. Plus, up to $600 off select adjustable mattress sets from Stearns & Foster and Tempur-Pedic.
Take a seat and try out FlexSteel's newest custom comfort reclining sofas in the largest selection of their popular Z-Cliner collection sofas and lift chairs. Plus, the largest selection of Amish-made furniture with quick ship custom orders as fast as 3 weeks and half off. Visit any of our 4 showrooms in Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, or Ellisville on Manchester Road. Don't miss the half-price sale at Miller Furniture, now through July 7th. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
A new way of banking is a touch away at Royal Banks of Missouri. Gone are the days of rushing to the bank before closing time. Visit their interactive teller machines to receive live assistance from a real Royal Banks employee, even in the evenings and on Saturdays. Whether you need to make a deposit, loan payment, or anything in between, you can enjoy simple, secure banking support with a friendly face you know and trust. Visit RoyalBanksOfMo.com to find an ITM near you. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for a new kitchen or bath? Call me, Anne Marie Boges, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer at Anne Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at AnneMarieStudio.com. We can help make your dream space into a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. We do it all, from design to bid to installation too. Call us today at 636-821-3395 or go online at annemariestudio.com. Let's make your dream kitchen or bath a reality with Anne Marie Design Studio.
Guido's Pizzeria and Tapas on the Hill, offering a taste of Spain in the middle of Italy, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Guido's pays tribute to America's enduring freedom for 250 years and thanks all those that protect and preserve that freedom.
Golf season is in full swing, and if you want to improve your game, visit Vander Park Golf Center, Sunset Hills' beautiful driving range located at Highway 30 in West Watson. Vander Park and the city of Sunset Hills wish you a happy and safe 4th of July weekend while we pay tribute to all those who've protected our freedom for 250 years.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
McGraw, live in the morning on KTRS.
(7:21), 7:22 now on your Tuesday morning. Mark Maxwell in for McGraw on the Big 550 KTRS. We're glad you're riding along with us this morning, maybe on your way to work. Maybe you've got a long holiday weekend. Man, make sure you're down at the Arch this weekend for the fireworks. They're free. A lot of big festivities, American pride on display. As we
Unless
celebrate,
you're under the age of 18, and then you have to have an adult supervising you, according to our police chief.
Is that right?
That's what he suggested.
After what time?
8 p.m.
8? That's a little early.
Especially when the fireworks are at 9:45.
I just think you have to be accompanied, so just make
So
sure
you-
you have an adult with you.
What if I'm 17?
Well, then you're breaking the law. I'm sorry. It's not a law. It's just
I think
that
your parent gets like a ticket or something.
I don't know how they're going to enforce it. And this is Chief Tracy's idea. I don't know if the mayor has endorsed this yet.
They have disagreements on timing, places, and the practicality and the implications of curfews. So yeah, it's interesting. Public safety, always a big story in St. Louis. A lot of us have had this experience too, though. Have you seen this thing? You ever download one of these nutrition apps on your phone? And a lot of us do it with the best intentions. Maybe you want to lose a few pounds. Maybe you want to eat more protein, hit your macros. Maybe your doctor said, it's a good idea for you to watch your blood sugar, your cholesterol, your sodium, whatever. So at first, this feels like a helpful way to track it. You enter your breakfast, and some of these apps are pretty cool. You can just scan the barcode. Like I brought this breakfast burrito in. I can just scan the barcode, and it knows.
Or you can take a picture of it.
Take a picture, yeah, with your phone.
And it knows how many calories are in it.
Down to the gram, it's great. And you start seeing patterns in your diet. Maybe the first thing you see is, that little snack wasn't so little. Maybe you're not getting quite as much fiber as you thought you were. And that's a big one, too. They tell you for longevity and all that. Then come the badges. This is where the app designers get a little too cute. You know what I'm talking about? Rose knows what I'm talking about. They give you a little badge if you did good. It's like a little gold star when you're in the first grade. Oh, look. Congrats.
Your veggie servings badge. Yay.
And then you get a streak. Now you're on a heater. Your diet's really doing good. And then come the reminders. Okay, you've lost your way a little bit. Here's a reminder. Here's a nudge. Make sure, don't forget your carrots. These cheerful little notifications they say in one way or another. Great job, or where have you been?
Wah, wah.
That's where this story gets interesting.
We see you missed a day.
Because nutrition apps can be useful. This story, texter texts in, Mark Maxwell, do you ever fact check your stories? Can you tell us your sources on your stories? Yes, we carefully run fact checks. This story is reported in the Associated Press. So you can
that liberal rag.
You can have your opinions on the slant of the Associated Press. They tend to grade pretty down the middle. But look, this is a story about nutrition apps. And so we're kind of just exploring the topic, right? Health professionals say that these nutrition apps can actually help them manage people's chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease. They can help with meal planning. They can motivate people to eat more and more intentionally. That can be a problem if you have an eating disorder, whatever. But researchers are also asking a different question about these nutrition apps. What happens when you're eating, your life sustenance becomes a game? You know what I mean? But you're essentially trying to get that little reward on the app, the badge, the streak.
I better have celery today.
And the way they program these things, they're designed to keep you playing, keep you going on the app. These nutrition apps are increasingly using the same kinds of tools that video games and shopping apps use, with the rewards, the points, the streaks, the colors, the trophies, nudges, and the reminders. So for a lot of people, those features are harmless. Maybe they're even a little bit helpful because they motivate you. But for some folks, a person who's vulnerable to an eating disorder, or maybe they struggle with body image, these kinds of features, according to this story, reinforce an unhealthy pattern in their mind.
Really? Well, I mean, isn't it they're all basically enforcing healthy eating patterns? What, like, it's not like encouraging you to eat.
No, it's not telling you to eat the ho-ho.
Right. Like, so
it is telling you to eat.
But it's reinforcing that ugly thought in your head that says you're not good enough. You don't look like she looks.
I see what
you
you're
need to starve yourself. You know, these kinds of like negative thoughts that some people, I would put it in the mental health category, where they really struggle with. I mean, eating is central to survival, right?
Yeah.
And for some folks, your brain wires that differently. A psychologist quoted in the story here says that calorie tracking can become an obsession. Another expert in the story says some of these apps may allow or encourage calorie goals that are actually too low for your body, setting users up to fail or feel ashamed and then come back trying even harder. So it's kind of an important distinction here. The problem may not just be the fact that you're tracking and logging and, you know, keeping a notebook. The problem might be what the app is encouraging you to track, how it rewards you, and whether that's personalized in a way a doctor would to help really listen to your body or to ignore certain factors. Here's one. One woman in the story said that the apps helped her with her fitness goals, especially through some intense training at CrossFit, helped her paying attention to protein, fat, carbs, calories. But she said that a notification reminding her she hadn't entered her lunch yet felt like she was being scolded. You know?
I could see that. Yeah, that's. Do you have one?
I have had these apps before, many years ago, and really so I don't track my daily intake like that carefully the way this story is suggesting, but I do like the ability to scan something at the store and quickly see, now how would this factor in? Yeah. So I don't do it like every time I lift a morsel of food to my mouth.
Sure.
But on occasion, I'm curious, what's in this?
Yeah, that's interesting because food blogging has always been, keeping a food diary has always been a popular form of maintaining a healthy diet and getting your eating on track. But the idea of being incentivized and or notified constantly, that's a different way to go. That makes sense, I guess. But I guess it's all up to the person, man. If they
because you cheat.
Yeah. Well, if you describe the app going, this is for someone who, you know, if you want to be pushed and you know, this kind of thing, this one's for you. If you just want to track your you know what I'm saying? Like, or at least differentiate between, we're going to be on you. If you don't track your lunch, you're going to get.
Well, here's an interesting question.
Prodded.
You know how they your car insurance, your auto insurance company tracks your driving habits, and they offer you discounts if you don't speed and if you don't drive erratically?
Yeah.
How long until your health insurance company can start offering you discounts based on what you eat?
Well,
I think
they do that for smoking already.
Right.
I think that's a really good call. A lot of these ones too, you just have to watch video. You know, that's actually really good. So they're gonna they're gonna partner up with
connect
these
the data.
Yeah. Wow.
Might not be far away.
Oh, man.
Futuristic thinking. Captain Paul Kopsky is in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center with an eye on your roadways and your commute to work this morning. Good morning, Captain Paul.
Good morning, Mark. Not a whole lot happening on the roads right now. We do have a stalled vehicle on 270 north at 64. It's off on the shoulder with traffic jammed back to Big Bend. 64 west is busy from Hampton to McCausland. 30 east slow between Ronning and 270 in Sunset Hills. And the signals are on flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
This newscast is brought to you by Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. Pope Leo XIV is begging a breakaway group of traditionalist Catholics to call off its plan to consecrate new bishops without his consent, calling the move a schismatic act and a sin of extreme gravity. The Society of St. Pius X was founded in opposition to the modernizing reforms of the 1960s Second Vatican Council. The United States and Iran have separately announced they are sending delegations to Qatar this week, though Tehran insists it has not agreed to meet with the U.S. at any level. The announcements Monday came after weekend attacks in the Persian Gulf challenged efforts to negotiate an end to the war. In local headlines, today is the deadline for seniors in St. Louis City and St. Louis County to apply for the Senior Real Estate Property Tax Relief Form. Meanwhile, St. Charles County has extended the deadline to July 6th. And first responders in the St. Louis area are preparing for a heavier workload this week. Officials expect an increase in emergency calls between the ongoing heat wave and 4th of July celebrations. Are you or a family member turning 65, and are you happy with your current plan? For the right plan, call the Medicare man, Ryan Raphael, at 314-368-6808. 79 degrees. Time now is 7:31. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Lisi Lumber is a family name you should know. Lisi Lumber is a family-run lumber yard, two of them in Belleville, but they'll deliver their materials anywhere the job site is. They'll work with builders, contractors, and homeowners, and have been working with builders, contractors, and homeowners since 1872. Listen to this. Not only are they known for great quality woods, great pricing, and great customer service, but now what they'll do is they will deliver right to your job site or your home a pre-assembled pergola, pavilion, or trellis. You send them the measurements. They will make it for you, so it will be a custom pergola, pavilion, or trellis, pre-assembled. All you have to do is put it together on at your home, and you'll save yourself all sorts of money and all sorts of aggravation. It's a great way to get a personalized, custom-made pavilion, pergola, or trellis from Lisi Lumber. All you do is pick the style, send them the numbers, and you'll get it. Lisi Lumber. 618-234-0105 or LisiLumber.com.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Since 1976, thousands of businesses have relied upon the tax reduction strategies provided by Capital Advisory Group to help them keep more of what they earn, reduce their tax liability, and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the 2 #1 best-selling books on taxes, Keep What's Yours and Keeping What's Yours. We're celebrating 50 years helping small businesses grow and thrive by minimizing the financial risk to their businesses, reducing their tax liability, and growing their wealth using strategic tax planning. The Fed is hinting that inflation and interest rates will continue to rise in the months ahead. If you're relying on investment advice from someone who isn't familiar with the tax strategy and feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, give us a call, 636-394-5524, capitaladvisorygrp.com. Again, the number is 636-394-5524.
Summer has a way of bringing people together. Backyard barbecues, open patios, sunlight filling your favorite rooms. It's the season when your home takes center stage. And if your windows or doors are showing their age, there's never been a better time to refresh the spaces you enjoy most. Imagine more natural light in your favorite rooms, a patio door that glides effortlessly, and a home that's ready for everything summer brings. That's the difference beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors can make, adding comfort, style, and lasting value to the place you love most. Right now, buy one window or door and get one window or door 40% off. Call now to see how affordable summer comfort and style can be with flexible financing options available. From the moment you schedule your appointment, you'll experience the attention to detail and world-class service that's helped make Renewal by Andersen one of the most trusted names in home improvement. Schedule your free window and door diagnosis by June 30th. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyanderson.com today. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Golf season is in full swing, and if you want to improve your game, visit Bander Park Golf Center, Sunset Hills' beautiful driving range located at Highway 30 in West Watson. Bander Park and the city of Sunset Hills wish you a happy and safe 4th of July weekend while we pay tribute to all those who've protected our freedom for 250 years.
Jill Farmer here with Dan Head, the owner of Patriot Build Sunrooms and Luna Builds. Both companies really offer a lot for customers, don't they?
Combining the capabilities of Patriot and Luna allows us to create any outdoor space you imagine. Essentially, if you can dream it, we can build it. From the highest level custom finishes to more user-friendly projects, our amazing craftsmen will make it a reality and add value to your home.
Call 314-822-3232 for a free consultation or come visit their Kirkwood showroom online at patriotbuildsstl.com.
McGraw Millhaven on KTRS.
Good Tuesday morning, 7:37. Mark Maxwell in for McGraw on the Big 550 KTRS. Good to be with you this morning. Carl, the intern's here. Rose Dalton is here, keeping us company. And Captain Paul's got our traffic cooking. We've been having a great morning all morning, and we're waiting for the Supreme Court. Big news expected at some point this morning. It's always fun when that happens. But you get that kind of the butterflies in your stomach, the hour leading up when you know news is about to break and you don't know how it's going to go.
Greg Willard was on with Josh and Heidi yesterday, and he was saying he was wearing out his mouse, clicking refresh on SCOTUS blog.
Yeah, and
you were doing the same thing.
And there's a great story. I'm going to tell you a story from SCOTUS blog right now. A good reporter over there named Amy Howe brings us this story. We're not just waiting for the decisions. Because this is the end of the term, this is also the time of year when the justices disclose interesting information about themselves. They give us their annual financial disclosures. So the public gets a chance to see what kind of gifts they got, who gave them gifts, what kind of money they made selling books. They get to travel. They get to do teaching gigs on the side. So it's interesting. The headline item, check this out. Justice Sonia Sotomayor reported receiving concert tickets worth $4,300 from Remus Entertainment. You know who that is? That's the record company that represents Bad Bunny. So the disclosure says these tickets were provided for a concert while she was on a private trip to Puerto Rico in August of last year. Sotomayor did not identify the artist in her filing, but reporters kind of compared notes and saw that Bad Bunny was performing a long run of sold-out shows in San Juan during that same period. Who knew? There's more. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson reported a gift. It was a painting for her chambers valued at $2,500. Okay. Among paintings, I've seen higher price tags. But she also led the court again in an interesting category. Income from book sales. She reported more than $1.1 million in royalties or advances after reporting roughly $2 million the year before. $3 million selling books. 5 justices reported income from teaching last year. Justices Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh each earned more than $33,000 teaching at Notre Dame. Justice Neil Gorsuch earned about $30,000 teaching in Prague for George Mason. Chief Justice John Roberts earned $25,000 teaching at New England Law School. And Justice Clarence Thomas got $18,000 teaching at Catholic university. Imagine having Chief Justice of the Supreme Court John Roberts as your law school professor. Or like, I don't know, does he stand in and give one seminar?
I know. Was it like a cameo, or is he like legit handing out the syllabus and grading your papers?
Yeah, here's $30,000.
Now, do they make a salary being?
Oh yeah,
like
we could look that up. I'm sure.
And do they all make the same?
I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe the Chief Justice makes more, and I'm sure their pension has something to do. Well, I don't know. I guess, do you get a pension if you never retire? It's a life term.
What if they're hourly? They have to clock in.
They're paid by the word. That would check out in some cases. These disclosures have a purpose. They're meant to reveal conflicts and to show compliance with what we generally understand as ethics rules. And I say that with a straight face. This isn't just to like embarrass them, right, and give a picture of how much money they have. 8 of the 9 justices' reports were released on Monday. The form for Justice Samuel Alito is not yet available. I'm sure it will be soon. So as the court prepares to hand down some of the most consequential, biggest rulings of the term, these disclosures are kind of like the side story. They raise a familiar question, right? What should Americans expect from those 9 people with lifetime appointments and enormous power over our society, over our public life? I mean, this is why the Supreme Court is such a fascinating institution. Think about it. On one hand, it's like a temple of American constitutional meaning. 9 robed figures interpreting the deepest questions of liberty and power and citizenship, speech, equality, the limits of government. On the other hand, this disclosure report reads like a Grammy gift bag collided with a university brochure. It's like the weirdest thing.
A gift bag.
Sotomayor got concert tickets from the company that represents Bad Bunny. Ketanji Brown Jackson gets a painting. Barrett and Kavanaugh teach at Notre Dame. Gorsuch in Prague. Roberts at New England Law. Thomas at Catholic University. Jackson's over here making 7 figures on books. So, like, the Supreme Court's like a study abroad program with merch. That's look. Here's the thing. On its own, each one of these items, a lot of this might be fine. Justices are going to write books. They're interesting people. They're smart. They know a lot. They're going to teach. They're going to travel. Maybe they'll receive a ceremonial gift from a big institution, and they disclose it. That's the point of the disclosure. But I think when you look at it all together, it's like that old George Carlin line. It's a big party, and you ain't in it. It just has that feel of a club that says, trust us, we're handling it. While the public keeps saying, I don't know, could we maybe see that rule book?
Is there anything that they're not allowed? Like, can they make cameos in movies, or, you know, is there stuff that they're not allowed to do?
I think that so if someone on the text line is going to fact check me on this, and they'd be right to do so. I think that the Supreme Court has an ethics guidelines that the Supreme Court justices put together. It's themselves. It's not like the Senate Judiciary Committee has said these are the rules by which you are bound, and this is law. It's more kind of like bro code.
Holding themselves accountable. Yeah.
We're going to just do it this way, and these are our rules. So, anyways, maybe there are guidelines, but I think the court's real problem is not that people think every justice is corrupt. Most people probably do not think that. The problem, I think, is that people more and more think that the court lives by standards that nobody else gets to use. Think about it like this. if you work down at City Hall or if you work at the county government in Clayton, you may not be able to take a free lunch from a government vendor. I work in a newsroom. I can't take like free tickets from people I cover.
Right.
If you work in a corporate office, there's probably like an HR module you have to sit through. It ruins your afternoon every time you watch it, but it teaches you where the line is. But if you sit on the highest country in the court, the rule is like, disclose it later, explain it never. Enjoy Prague. So, I mean, the Bad Bunny piece is interesting. I don't know if that's like the whole story. Maybe the question should be, should the most powerful legal institution in America be satisfied with, we technically disclosed it, or should they aim for, this is obviously above reproach? Those are not the same thing. Captain Paul Kopsky's in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. He knows what your commute looks like. Captain Paul, what do you got?
Well, Marky, in East St. Louis, there's an accident on 5570 West approaching Route 3 with stop-and-go traffic to Illinois 111. A stalled vehicle on 270 North at 64 has been cleared with traffic heavy back past Big Bend. 64 West is busy from Hampton to McCausland. 64 East bogs down from 170 to Big Bend. And the signal's still on flash at Gravois and Hickey. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods
As we
Basement
enter
Systems
into
weather
the
desk.
summer months, you might be thinking windows and doors. Yeah, and where are you going to go? You have lots of options when it comes to windows and doors. Let me tell you about a St. Louis company that everybody should know about. It's called WSWindow.net. It's run by Larry Thornton and his son, Joe. And they've been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 38 years. They do most of their work with a handshake and a smile. There is no high-pressure sales. There is no jacking up the prices and then try and bring you down as they demand some type of signature on the dotted line. They'll shake your hand and say, we hope to hear from you. And they have been successful. They've beat the big boys at their games for all these many years because they do it right. They have long-time installers, long-time employees. The Window Store. If you need windows, if you need doors, you want a great price, and you want to keep it in the St. Louis family. That's Larry and Joe Thornton. The Window Store. WSWindow.net. WSWindow.net.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk. Local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
Oh, the dangerous heat wave rolls on, and this pattern is not going to change anytime soon. So, sunshine today, up to 98 this afternoon, but it will feel like 107, even hotter, out in the full sun. Clear skies tonight, but little relief from the heat, 79 for the low in St. Louis. A nearly identical day tomorrow, 98 Wednesday afternoon with a top heat index of 106. Some spotty storms possible from Thursday through the 4th of July, with the heat finally backing down, we think, Sunday into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Dang, I forgot the wakeboard. How am I supposed to enjoy myself without my favorite water activity? I mean, sure, we could still go tubing, fishing, or even just relax on a floaty, but without the wakeboard, what's the point?
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Mark Lawson with Black Fox Cooper, your local Anderson certified contractor. Many homeowners live with old drafty windows for years, thinking they can put it off until later. But once they replace them with new Anderson windows, they often tell me the same thing. I can't believe the difference. Their homes are quieter, more comfortable, and more energy efficient, and the curb appeal is drastically improved. At Black Fox Cooper, we help homeowners understand their options and select the right Anderson windows for their home and budget. Do it today instead of tomorrow. Call 314-270-1484. Online, blackfoxcooper.com.
Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. Summer in St. Louis means your air conditioner basically clocks in with a full-time job. And if your AC is 15, 20, or maybe even 25 years old, it could be working a whole lot harder and costing you a whole lot more than it should. A newer, high-efficiency system from Premier Heating and Cooling can cut cooling costs dramatically compared to older units. In some homes, upgrading from a 20-year-old air conditioner to a modern, high-efficiency system can reduce energy use by 20 to 40%. And even a professional clean and check tune-up can improve efficiency, airflow, and help your system keep up during brutal heat waves. Add in a smart thermostat, and the Department of Energy says homeowners can save another 10% a year on heating and cooling costs. So before your old AC taps out during the hottest week of the summer, call the highly trained team at Premier Heating and Cooling. Financing options available. 636-916-1122. PremierHeatingCooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I feel very lucky to love where I live. And I know Lauren Risley feels the same. And her team at Lauren Risley Realty wants you to experience that same great feeling. One of their mottos at Lauren Risley Realty is love where you live or move. Dream homes are their specialty. Actually, they do a lot of things right, because when you buy or sell a home, it's not just a transaction. What the Lauren Risley team does is build relationships, and I've seen that firsthand. So if you have plans to buy, sell, invest, or just have a question about any of it, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. That's 314-775-0684. You can also email Lauren at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com.
Are you looking to buy a new home, set money aside for college, or start planning for retirement? Royal Banks of Missouri is here to create a personalized savings strategy that works for you and your financial goals. From roundup savings to money market to individual retirement accounts, they offer a variety of options to help you save for life's most memorable moments. Call 314-212-1500 or visit a location near you to learn more. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Live from Studio 550, this is The McGraw Show on KTRS.
$7:52 on your Tuesday morning. Good morning. It's Mark Maxwell in for McGraw on the Big 550 KTRS. The price of tech is rising again. Game consoles, computers, even one of the most anticipated video games of the decade, all getting more expensive. But in the middle of all this sticker shock, a new electric pickup truck is trying to sell Americans on a very different idea. Fewer screens, fewer luxuries, get this, crank windows, and a lower price. Mike Dubusky is the tech reporter at ABC News. He joins us now also with NY Tech Tuesday. Mike, good morning. How did we get to the point where the revolutionary tech product is the one that says, what if we just took all the tech out?
Yeah, less is kind of the pitch that Slate Auto has been making. Slate is a new electric vehicle startup. They first showed off this concept vehicle last year. It is a small pickup truck. They call it the Blank Slate. And it is this stripped out, low-cost, configurable EV. Last week, they announced pricing for this thing, and it is $24,950. That is kind of the draw here, right? Even though you don't get power windows, you don't get luxuries like heated seats, and maybe much to our chagrin, Mark, you don't get a radio standard in this thing either. I know. That price is about half of what the average new car transaction price is in the United States. If they hit this target price when this thing goes on sale early next year, it would not only be the cheapest new electric vehicle on the market, it would be among the cheapest new cars of any kind. It's even cheaper than the average used car transaction price, according to Kelley Blue Book. Edmunds found last week in a new report that 6 years ago, 1/5 of the new car market was populated by cars like this, under $25,000. Today, it is less than 5% of the new car market. And sure, you have to make do without all these luxuries like, power windows or radios, but they say that this is a kind of part of the market that's not being occupied, that there's a desire for something like this. And if you pay attention to car circles, there absolutely has been people saying, hey, we got to go back to the days of the old school Ford Rangers and Chevy S10s, these basic small pickup trucks that just got the job done. This is basically a new startup automaker calling that shot and saying, hey, is there actually a market here? We'll just have to wait and see when it goes on sale.
The market shall decide. I have confidence that the good listeners of the Big 550 KTRS would pay the extra premium to have the radio in their electric truck.
Of course.
Look, this Slate truck sounds like a rebellion against the modern dashboard, which if you see a lot of these electric vehicles, it looks like an iPad mounted inside of a moving loan payment. Is this like the trend, or is this some kind of a clever sales gimmick to move more chips and screens?
Yeah, that's the question, right? Is like this going to be, too far, too basic for the consumer to really go for? The interesting thing is here, we have seen this preponderance of screens, especially in the pickup truck market, as, Ford F-150s, Dodge Rams, Chevy Silverados are generally at the top of sales charts in the U.S. They have become kind of the new sedan, right? Like they are generally crew cabs. Those are big sellers for Ford, Chevy, Ram, Toyota. That means that you can take the whole family with you, right? And they've kind of taken the place of what used to be occupied by Ford Fusions and Chevy Malibus and what have you. So it is a bigger proposition. With that comes a lot of extra complexity. And of course, a lot of this has to do with safety as well. You need sensors, you need sort of larger pillars and things like that just to comply with a lot of the safety regulations in the United States and around the world. But that also adds cost, and I think that's also why you're seeing this, kind of cost increase. Slate occupies this whole other side of the market. They say basically this part of the market has been left behind. Here's our proposition. Will you go for it? They say that you can add a lot of these, interior niceties back in. You can add in a Bluetooth speaker to pair with your phone. You can add more seats because, of course, this is a 2-seat little pickup truck that you can add in sort of a back end to it, so it makes it into a little SUV that looks like an old school, like Ford Bronco 2, if you remember what those things look like.
Oh, sure.
You can make them into like a Jeep Wrangler sort of thing where there's this open air back to it, different wraps to make it different colors. They say this is like meant to be this customizable thing, but of course that will raise the price a little bit from that $25,000 mark. And here's where it gets really interesting. Ford is expected to reveal an all-electric small pickup truck in this segment, rumored to start around $30,000, and we're expecting to see this before the end of the year. We don't know too much about it yet, but we do know it's going to be a 4-door, 4-seat small pickup truck, getting back at that kind of crew cab sort of setup that is so popular. That would immediately open up Ford to a bigger audience than Slate, and it's safe to assume that Ford will throw in things like power windows and, we assume, a radio.
ABC tech reporter Mike Dubusky. Sounds to me like the bigger story is that these tech companies spent years making everything smart, and now affordability requires them to make things dumb again. But it's great to have you with us. We appreciate you calling in.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, that's Mike Dubusky from ABC News. Let's check in with Captain Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
In East St. Louis, there's an accident on 5570 West approaching Illinois 203 with stop-and-go traffic back to 111. 270 North is jammed from 44 to Manchester. 64 West is busy from Hampton to McCausland. 64 East bogs down from McKnight to Big Bend. And the signals are on flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Spectrum Eyeglass Repair, the nation's leader in eyeglass repair in Crestwood on Watson Road, wants to wish everyone a very safe and happy 4th of July. From everyone at Spectrum Eyeglass Repair, happy 250th birthday, America.
Hey, St. Louis, temperatures are rising, and if your AC isn't blowing cold enough, trust the experts at AAA Home Services. For 56 years, they've been fixing it right the first time. Our expert technicians are qualified to work on any system with any issue. We can even perform your annual maintenance on your air conditioner before it gets too hot. And if you need an estimate on a new system, we can do that too. For 56 years, St. Louis has trusted AAA for heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and appliance repair needs. Call 636-397-3200. Online at AAASTL.com. KTRSSTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Connor Roofing is proud to be a small part of Christmas in July, celebrating the heart of St. Louis, and thanks to 550 KTRS. This is Kathy from Connor Roofing. For years, we've been dedicated to protecting what matters most, your home, your family, and your peace of mind. As a local business, we believe in strong roofs and even stronger communities. Thanks for making us a part of yours. Connor Roofing, keeping St. Louis covered, one roof at a time. You can find us at connerroofing.com.
Station identification.
KTRS St. Louis.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A life-threatening heat dome planted over the Midwest is moving east, putting at least 160 million Americans under some sort of weather advisory or warning today.
In the Midwest, the feel-like temperature topping 100 degrees from Kansas City to Chicago. That extreme heat spreading east with more than 150 million Americans under heat alerts. Philadelphia, New York, and Boston expecting heat index readings of 100 degrees or more for several days.
ABC's Lana Moise, ABC's Melissa Adon has more on the drought and wind-driven wildfires in the West.
Nearly 40 large wildfires are currently burning across 9 states. In Utah, the city of Beaver canceling its July 4th celebrations amid the blazes. The state's Cottonwood fire, the largest in the country, already growing to more than 146 square miles, roughly the size of the city of Philadelphia. Shane Gadbaugh's ski resort largely devastated by the fire.
It's bad. It's like a war zone.
With new blazes exploding by the day.
3 firefighters killed in Utah fires over the weekend. After President Trump said the Iranians had called him asking for more ceasefire talks in Doha, envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner flew there, where the Iranians now say there are no face-to-face meetings, only discussions with mediators. Here's ABC security contributor Mick Mulroy.
It's a 2-hour flight between Tehran and Doha, so there's no excuse for the Iranians not to show up. That's just one of another reasons why they aren't taking this MOU seriously. They still control the Strait of Hormuz. They're still firing at commercial vessels, and they won't even show up to negotiations to get into a framework for a nuclear discussion.
A couple of big rulings expected from the Supreme Court today, including one on birthright citizenship. There's a search underway for a suspect in an explosion at an apartment in Monaco that injured 3, including a Ukrainian tycoon. This is ABC News.
Me.
For 6 generations, the name Edwards has stood for unwavering trust in wealth management. At Benjamin F. Edwards, we're fiercely independent and remain committed to putting our clients first. America's the greatest nation on earth, and this 4th of July, we want to thank all those that have sacrificed, protected, and continue to protect America's independence for 250 years.
Member SIPC.
Do you live in a brick home? Do you have stone anywhere? If it's indoor, outdoor, Morelli Tuck Pointing is your go-to. Hi, everybody. McGraw Millhaven for Morelli. They've been in business for over 30 years, and they have Masons in their family. It runs in their blood. John Morelli's the owner, and every single person we've sent to him who's come back to me says the same thing, including me. I can't believe how simple, easy it was, and I can't believe how great their work is. Since 1991, John Morelli has been the owner of this company. Anything to do with tuck pointing, brick or stone, commercial, residential, walkways, chimneys, porches, foundations, anything that needs repair, Morelli is known as the gold standard. You don't want to hire someone who just went to YouTube and took a 5-minute video to work on your chimney or your stone or your brick or your mortar. You want someone who is the gold standard, and that's Morelli. 314-645-1387, Morelli, or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
80 degrees at 8:03. Here's what's happening now. A 10-year-old boy charged with murdering a baby in North St. Louis will be tried in juvenile court. The 22nd Judicial Circuit says any juvenile under the age of 12 cannot be prosecuted as an adult for any reason under state law. The child is accused of fatally shooting his 7-month-old niece at a home in the Bade neighborhood last Friday. Authorities say he has been placed in protective custody and is currently at a hospital for psychiatric evaluation. The extreme heat warning continues. Health officials urge people to take precautions against heat-related illnesses. If you experience symptoms of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, you should seek medical attention immediately. Symptoms of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, weakness or dizziness, nausea or vomiting, headache, and cold, pale, or clammy skin. Symptoms of heat stroke include high body temperature, 103 or higher, hot, red, dry, or damp skin, confusion, fainting, and a rapid, strong pulse. St. Charles County is extending the deadline for seniors to enroll in the Senior Real Estate Property Tax Relief Program. The St. Charles County Council unanimously passed an ordinance giving seniors 6 extra days to make up for a string of days in mid-June when the online portal was not working due to problems with an outside vendor. The original deadline to enroll was today. It's now been extended to July 6th. St. Louis County will celebrate America's 250th anniversary today. The festivities include a ceremonial flag raising and patriotic display in Memorial Park at 11 this morning. County Executive Sam Page will be joined by fellow county employees, including the St. Louis County Police Department Honor Guard, to mark this historic anniversary. The League of Women Voters will also be on hand to help register people to vote. Penske Teamsters in Florida and Missouri could soon be walking the picket lines. KTRS's Brendan Wiese has the story.
Penske Teamsters in Florida and Missouri have authorized a labor stoppage. This comes ahead of their contract expiring today. Negotiations are expected to continue. Union leaders say if an agreement is not reached, Teamsters at Penske will be forced to strike. Wages and employee pensions are among the issues surrounding this labor dispute. Brendan Wiese, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, a place for all your floral needs. And you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. 80 degrees. Time now is 8:05. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Man, I tell you what, we're getting some text in this morning, 84126. That last segment with Mike Dubusky from ABC News, the tech reporter, pretty fascinating stuff. They're taking smart tech out of our tech. They're selling us dumb tech. And they're saying it's cheaper, but you don't have screens. You got to crank your window again. I mean, what are they going to do next? You got to crank the engine.
Oh, like a Model T.
From the 314, someone says $25K seems like too much without power windows.
You know what though? Like I was thinking the same thing. It's just one less thing to fix if it breaks down, right? Like if your whole dashboard, if the chip malfunctions or something, then you. Like to me, I would love an old school. I'd crank the window and have an old tuner where you actually push in the button.
I feel like we millennials are the last generation who really remember the crank window.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember getting in the back of that the station wagon.
Sure.
And, you could face out the rear view mirror as a kid.
It's the coolest thing ever. Coolest.
And then you got to crank the windows up.
Oh, yeah.
And, you're getting a little bit of a bicep workout as a 6-year-old,
Yeah.
And then you fight over who's in the middle of the seat with your sister and no, this is my side. The kids these days, they have their own screens. They have their own seats. They have their own, headphones on. They're just in their own little world.
Real quick, do you remember, too, before automatic garage door openers? Whereas, I remember every time we'd pull into the driveway,
someone had to get out
and open the door. And it was always a fight between me and my sister. Ugh, I did it last time. Get out and open right?
Oh, I love doing
that?
it.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, there's things like that.
That's why you have children, so they can open up the garage for you.
Exactly.
I just think I recognize I am leaning into it. I know I sound like the cranky old man. Get off my lawn. But it is interesting that all of a sudden everything old is new again. They're like, hey, we have a cheap idea. We're going to go back to the 80s. What?
Yes.
Somebody here says, from the 314, the slate car sounds perfect for my 80-year-old father. This 618, I'm with this person. I'd rather have an old car with a radio.
Yes. And why are crank windows so bad? Why are crank windows
Because if you wanted to roll down the passenger window, you look like an idiot.
That's fair enough. Now, real quick question, too, in terms of survival. If your car was submerged in water, you can still crank the window down if you're at the as you're falling, as you're submerging, you can still technically crank that window down.
The pressure is not.
Thank you, right? As opposed to.
Even though that seems almost counterintuitive, because if you're doing it, you're like, I'm inviting the water in. The water is the danger, but you know you have to get out.
I have to get out.
That's got to be a really freaky moment.
You can't
Which
open
is
the door
why I
until
don't
the
want
pressure.
to. Yeah, like I don't want to wait. You have to wait till it sinks, right? Till it's full and the pressure open, that you can kick it open or whatever.
Yes.
If you have automatic windows, but if you have crank, I'd be cranking I'd be prepping. We're going down. People crank those windows.
Someone texted in, "What's next? 3 on the tree?" Remember that? The old crank. Instead of like a stick shift, you just had
3
boom,
on
boom,
your.
boom.
That's like the Model Ts, right? Did you know how like those?
That's where the shift
really
was.
Difficult.
Was on the steering wheel.
The steering wheel.
How many people do you think, like Gen Z, can they drive stick shift? Probably not, right?
No.
I can't imagine that many of them know how.
Rose, when you valet, do you?
I told you my Jiffy Lube story, didn't I?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Well, recently went to get my oil change, and I drive a manual transmission, and it looked like everybody in the bay, and there's probably maybe 5 people all day working, and they all looked younger than me, and I'm 45, so we'll go with that. I'm sitting there I want to get my tires rotated, so I actually sat in the waiting room while they did it, and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden the guy comes out and goes, "So to start your car, is there something that you have to push? Do you have to push the ignition?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's a manual. You have to push the clutch in to start the car." Oh, okay. So started the car, and then 5 minutes later, they're like, "Can you revert?" Because they had to reverse it back over to the great things. Whatever. The point is, nobody there knew how to drive a manual transmission. Now, my only thing about it is, I get it. Nobody really drives them anymore, or they're obsolete. But at a place that services cars,
what hand do I put my phone in?
Well.
Yeah, couldn't they have looked that up on their phones on how to start it?
Right, but still, I'm just saying, because I had this argument with other people where people were like, nobody drives sticks anymore, so how can you? But I'm like, they're not that, and it's, like I said, it's like the valet. How could you can't hire would you hire a valet person who does not know how to operate all the vehicles that might come into your purview, right? Or like, how could no one there? And I would never make fun. It wasn't, I was okay, yeah, no problem. But I'm like, really?
But you're getting a lot of mileage out of it now.
And no offense, I'm never going to go, they were very nice, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going to go back there. Nobody knows how to drive. And it's not that, I don't know. I was really surprised.
Someone from the 618 says cigarette lighter and ashtray coming back too.
Yes, the old that you burn your arm on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a blast from the past because I can remember those little things getting hot. I thought it was the coolest thing. There were no cigarettes in the cars I grew up riding in, but they're sort of joking when they say that, I think, but they should. It's not a joke. Have you seen this? Cigarettes and nicotine are actually making a comeback.
With whom?
With the kids.
I thought they all vaped.
Well, a lot of vaping, but there's like, if you look online, there are news stories, you can find this. More and more kids are like, you know what? Smoking's cool again. It's coming back.
Well, so why could you should still have those push lighters in the car anyway, even if it's no smoking? Because wouldn't they be still
I haven't
useful
seen
for
one of
something?
those in,
right?
I mean, when's the last time you saw one of those?
Well, and the best was like when they're used in movies to like, you burn somebody with it, so they've got this perfect circle with an inner circle, and you recognize that immediately. Oh, that's one of those lighter burns.
Did you guys ever watch Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee show on Netflix?
Every single one of them.
It's such a great show because Seinfeld's good, but he's also really good at getting comedians to talk about their craft and their writing. And
they're 11 minutes long, and they film for like 7 hours.
Right, so they pack a lot in. You get the highlights. But one of the things I really took away from that show, of course, Seinfeld and Jay Leno, both really big car guys. They love unique old cars. They collect them. But as you kind of start to watch the different episodes, every one is shot in a different cool car. Seinfeld will borrow them. He'll call in a favor.
Specific for the comedian, because he thinks it kind of relates to that person.
He tries to find something in common that reminds him of this comedian about the car or vice versa. And he makes the point, I think in a couple of these episodes, that they just don't make them like they used to in general. And he says, if you go out and look at a parking lot now, it's like someone sanded off all the edges of all the cars. They all generally look alike. And I started noticing it. And I know Seinfeld's like the classic for just noticing basic things and observing life. But it's a really spot on observation. I don't know when or where, but we've stopped making things really interesting and unique, just for the sake of doing it.
Or really durable, to be quite honest.
The first
all of
minute,
it.
the first minute of that show is all about the car, and then he relates that car to the comedian, and then they start the show.
And he treats every car like it's a unique fingerprint. And let me show you why it's interesting. And it's a little obsessive, but you do appreciate, like, man, where is that artistry anymore in manufacturing? Do we have we just don't make them like we used to?
Does that new truck have a bucket seat?
Well, it's a two-seater, so maybe.
Do you remember that? All right, everybody, we got to move up. And
remember the bench seats in the front seat? Those were really cool.
Yeah,
in
right.
the 70s.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry, that's what I meant, right? The bench is where everybody had to move up at the same time because it was one big seat.
Yeah.
But they were so comfortable too. They don't even make seats comfortable like they used to.
They just don't make them like they used to. On the other side of the break, we have a really big local news story that could affect a lot of parents in the city of St. Louis. You're going to want to stick around for this. Big story just breaking out now, and we're going to dig into this story in just a minute that could affect the future of the city for decades to come. Captain Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center with an eye on the roads.
Mark in East St. Louis, an accident on 5570 West approaching Route 203 has been cleared with residual congestion back past 111. 270 North is heavy from Big Bend to Manchester. 64 West busy from Hampton to McCausland. 64 East bogs down from McKnight to Big Bend, and the signals are on red flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Dangerous heat all the way through the week and even on the 4th of July. A cold front will try to push in here by Sunday. Until then, First Alert weather days for the dangerous heat. A low of 77, a high of 98. Heat index anywhere from 105 to 110 Tuesday with sunny skies. And Wednesday, similar situation. Sunny and a high of 98. Heat index 105 to 110 in the afternoon. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, you've seen all these nice bathrooms, and now you're saying to yourself, I want one of these nice bathrooms. Well, here's what you do. Your first phone call is to Jacob Baths and Showers, 1-800-222-6776. Jacob will come in, take a look at your bathroom, and they will take out all the mold, the mildew, the tub, and they'll replace it with new, beautiful colors, beautiful designs. They'll take that tub and put in a low-threshold walk-in shower. They'll install seats and grab bars if you want, non-stick surfaces. They'll use composite materials that look like luxury stone. They'll use all sorts of materials that look and feel like tile without the care and the maintenance. And at Jacob, it'll take 1 to 2 days to get that bathroom looking just the way you want it. They've been doing this for 50 years. Well-respected, well-trusted, both sides of the river in Fenton and in Fairview Heights. Ask about the McGraw special because they'll cut you one for you. JacobBaths.com. That's JacobBaths.com.
Hey, this is Zipper Zepper. You know, St. Louis has great sports, great entertainment, time for some great conversation. That's why I'm excited to invite you to the Mater Media Speaker Series. We're bringing in Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Dolan, John O'Leary, other national speakers at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts, Lindenwood University. Tickets are on sale. Don't wait. Early bird pricing going on now. Go to matermedia.org. That's MATERmedia.org.
Overstock Outlet, the best random store around, with new big box store arrivals daily in Lake St. Louis and Warrenton, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend as we celebrate America's 250th birthday and thank all those that protect our freedom.
Golf season is in full swing, and if you want to improve your game, visit Vander Park Golf Center, Sunset Hills' beautiful driving range located at Highway 30 in West Watson. Vander Park and the city of Sunset Hills wish you a happy and safe 4th of July weekend while we pay tribute to all those who have protected our freedom for 250 years.
Something is happening in St. Louis. People are driving past other Kia dealers and heading straight to HW Kia. Why? Payments. Lease a brand new HW Kia K4 for just $189 a month. That's right. A new K4 just $189 a month on a 24-month lease. That payment is skimpier than summer swimwear. Plus, HW Kia needs your trade like St. Louis needs air conditioning. Get up to $3,000 over book value for your trade. Running or or not, pretty or not, paid off or not, HW Kia wants it. If your credit's a little sunburned, don't panic. HW Kia wants to work with you. So keep driving past those other dealers and get to HW Kia during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. HW Kia in the heart of West County on Manchester Road. And remember, Big D wants to see you in an HW Kia. Start now at hwkia.com.
With approved credit to well-qualified buyers through Kia Finance. 2026 K4, 3695 days. Discount includes $850 in lease cash, 10,000 miles per year, no security deposit, plus 95 license mastery fee. Expires 6/30/26.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green. Online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
Carl, the intern's working overtime here on Tuesday morning at 8:20. I told you before the break we had a big local story, and we're going to get to that. St. Louis Public Schools could be closing 20 schools, fewer than we thought, but still a big number. We'll get to that on the other side of the break. Carl had to remind me we have a much more important segment to get to. I was going to say a special guest, but I guess, Steve Potter, you're not really a guest until tomorrow.
Oh,
You're supposed to be here today.
I'm a guest on your show today.
You're a guest on the show today, but you got to be here.
And I thought I was the big local story.
A big story. Look, I've always said I have one of the luckiest jobs in the world. Getting to be a steward of public airwaves and coming and meeting with people and discussing things, having the public conversation in the public square. It's truly an honor. And I only get to do it because people like you have been blazing these trails for decades before, right? I mean, tell us, this is your last day.
My last day? Well, at KTRS, not on the earth.
Wow. No, yes. Thank you for clarifying. Last day at KTRS, but it's certainly not your first day.
No.
Take me back to that.
Oh, gosh. At my first day at KTRS, the first day on the radio.
On the radio?
Yeah. Well, I got into radio broadcasting late. I was 28 years old before I got into radio. You know, most people in radio get in when they're 14.
Sure.
And I wish I had. Things probably would be a lot different. But I went to college as a political science major. I did an internship in D.C. and worked for the president pro tem of the Kentucky State Senate and all this. And at some point, I kind of decided that politics was just not where I wanted to go, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So after 4 years of college, I dropped out and waited tables and had fun. And after a couple years, kind of realized that really radio had been in my brain ever since I was a little kid and used to listen to talk radio coming out of New York when I was 8 years old.
Do you remember the voices that captivated your imagination back then?
Not that far ago. It was some station in New York City, and they had a talk show. I remember Larry King and all that from the 70s. But so at any rate, after a couple years of just having fun, I decided radio's a thing, so I went back to college and in a year and a half got a degree in electronic media, Springfield, Missouri.
Oh.
And they hired me at the college station, and then I did a little DJ work at the local A&M station. And I got my first full-time job after that in Richmond, Kentucky, where I was a news director for a little country western station. I was there for a couple of years.
How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. And I got fired. Imagine that in radio.
They say you're never really in broadcasting until you've been fired.
Well, I always say I've only been fired like twice in my entire career, and for radio, that's nothing.
I was going to say, that's really good.
I got fired from the same place 3 times.
He's a survivor.
The day's not over, Carl. But so after that, I was in Richmond, Kentucky, and back in those days, too, you couldn't get radio jobs without experience, unlike today. No, it's true, because I remember...
How do you think I got my gig?
Yeah. Stop it.
I hung around and tried to apply for jobs in Lexington, Kentucky, and Louisville, and people said, yes, you're very talented, but you've only had a year or 2 experience.
Oh.
So I didn't know what to do, and I was born in St. Louis, and both my parents are from there. My dad worked for a big company, and we moved to a different part of the country every 4 years because of his career. But St. Louis was always home because I always spent Christmases and summers here.
Mm.
So that being said, I had nowhere to go, so I came to visit my grandmother, who was 95 then and living by herself. And I was staying with her for a while, and she said, you want to stay here for a while? And so I started looking for jobs. I waited tables. We lived kind of behind the Galleria on South McKnight.
Mm-hmm.
I got a job there when that Houlihan's opened, waiting tables. But
Yes.
no one would hire me in St. Louis because I only had a year or 2 experience, and St. Louis was a big market.
Yeah.
So one day, this shows you how long ago it was, I was looking at the one ads in the newspaper. And the radio station, Alton, Illinois, was looking for somebody. I'd never been to Alton before.
What do you know?
So long story short, I drove up. They hired me. One thing led to another. And after about 6 months, they hired me to do the morning show, which they changed to a talk format. And I did the morning show for 8 years.
So when you add it all up, how many years in radio?
Well, I started at 28, and I'm 71 and a half.
Wow.
There you go. So you can do the math.
Yeah, kind of.
And you've been around the industry long enough to see all the changes. We've all read about them, but how did those changes feel at the time you were first in them? As the industry started changing, did you see it then?
Yes. I think I was on it. I was on at the end of the good stuff.
The drugs.
You know, radio, when I got into it, radio people kind of still stars, and it was glamorous.
Sure.
And I don't know who to blame for this, but, you know, it's kind of gone downhill. And it's,
Hey, now.
I don't mean here.
I'm
I don't
kidding,
mean
yeah,
here. But I'm just talking in general.
KTRS is very old school.
Right.
It does have an old school feel here. I love coming in here because it has that feel. You walk in and you know who is something.
Okay, here's the difference I remember. Like, back when I started, I didn't have to beg for a job. I got raises without asking for them. People wanted me to stay. That's the way it used to be and the way it should be,
What is
and I
that
don't have
like?
to tell you what it's like these days.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, okay, you have to have a couple favorite stories or moments from things that really stuck with you.
Well, I've done a lot of interesting things. After I did 8 years at the Alton station, I worked a couple years in Warrenton, and then I got a news anchor job at KMOX. And Bob Hamilton mentored me, which he was,
wow,
for someone in talk
Bob
radio,
Hamilton.
that he was my idol.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one thing that really stands out. After that, I worked for St. Louis Public Radio for 17 years. And one of the big great things about that, I hosted their Cityscape program for 11 years and interviewed anyone famous that came through St. Louis in the arts or anything, an actor, an author, something like that. So those, I have a million great memories of that.
I bet.
Sitting one-on-one with, Ann Rice or whoever it might be.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. 17 years at KWMU. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Fantastic, Steve.
Our texters remember this. One says that they remember you from your days there.
And on the side note, another great memory is until 2 years ago, I was at STL TV. I hosted the same program there for 23 years. I did other things for them, went on calls, but there was a City Corner public affairs program. Channel 30 used it for their public affairs program in the morning, but you could get it on all those sub-channels and stuff. So I hosted City Corner for 23 years, and I got to produce it too. So I just picked my guests and my topics, and that's kind of heaven.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
I love meeting different broadcasters with different stories because so many people that get behind a mic, they have this sort of innate understanding that the job isn't about themselves. It's about other people. It's about the different voices you get to carry, the voices you get to amplify, and the people you get to meet. Now, I'm getting that sense from you right now. We haven't spent a lot of time together before today, but I can tell I would have really enjoyed working with you on a lot of this stuff. Everybody asks this question: what are you going to miss the most? I want to ask the other thing: what are you going to miss the least?
He's like,
Wait a minute.
He still has to work today, Mark.
That's fine. What are they going to do? Fire you?
Okay. Commuting.
oh, yeah.
You know, I moved to Alton to do that job for 8 years, and so that's my last year there was like 1998. Then I started working their places in St. Louis, but I never moved back because I live in the old historic district right downtown, and I really like it there. Point being, so for the last 20-something years, I don't like commuting.
Yeah, who does?
Especially when you do it in rush hour. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I won't miss, commuting.
Of all the cities to do it in, though, this one's not the worst.
But Alton that's a
No,
haul.
but if you have to get on 270 during rush hour, and if there's road work or an accident.
Were you in Alton before 367 became like when they was all just service roads? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you're back, all these North County folks like myself, there was a time when
367 was a 4-lane road, but it had 4 stoplights.
That's it. It was so it was and then they finally
And then for a year or two, when they built it, they diverted you on the side roads.
Yeah.
I had to commute to St. Louis Public Radio, so 367 to 2.
Yep.
There you go.
Alton, famously home of Elijah Lovejoy's printing press, thrown in the river.
Yeah, and Robert Wadlow.
Yeah,
all sorts of things.
Alton Giant.
How about Miles Davis?
Ooh.
We have the only Miles Davis statue in the world.
If that's cool,
he was
then
born there,
consider
right?
me Miles
his
Davis.
father was a dentist or a doctor, and statues right down in our entertainment district on 3rd Street where his office used to be.
Wow.
Well, I hope your last day is a great one, Steve.
Excuse me?
I hope your last day is a great one.
Well, you have made it that way.
And we're going to miss you a lot. We're going to miss you very much.
Well, thank you. I'll miss being here, and I'll keep listening.
Any good advice for a younger broadcaster just trying to make his way?
Run.
To the light, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, you're awesome.
Steve Potter.
We'll miss you a lot.
Thank you guys so much.
And
I just want to
congratulations.
thank the management here and stuff. Have a lot of good memories. I had a lot of fun doing what I do, and thanks for the cake you gave me earlier.
Very good.
Yeah.
We'll miss you. Steve Potter, everybody. Steve
What a gentleman.
Potter.
Thanks again. Okay, let's go over to Captain Paul Kopsky in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. It's a standing ovation in here for Steve Potter.
Yeah, congratulations to Steve.
Thank you so much.
Great career. The on-ramp from Riverview to 270 East is partially blocked. 270 North still heavy around Doherty Ferry. 64 East bogs down from 170 to Big Bend. And the signals are on red flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
degrees at 8:31. 2 U.S. envoys arrived in Qatar today for talks with mediators about the implementation of an initial deal to end the war in Iran. The visit by Steve Witkoff, President Donald Trump's special Mideast envoy, and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, comes after a weekend of crossfire in the Persian Gulf over efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to shipping traffic. The Supreme Court will rule on the constitutionality of President Donald Trump's order on birthright citizenship, declaring that children born to parents who are in the United States illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. The decision comes on the final day of a Supreme Court term that has centered on Trump's expansive claims of presidential power and largely ruled in his favor. In local headlines, St. Louis city leaders will address data center zoning rules. A Board of Aldermen committee will hold a public hearing today on a bill that would create the city's first comprehensive zoning rules for data centers. And the Missouri Department of Revenue is encouraging businesses to review the revised sales and use tax data on the DOR website, which becomes effective July 1st. All Missouri businesses with taxable transactions must collect and remit tax at the current tax rate respective to their city and county. 82 degrees. Time now is 8:32. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Guido's Pizzeria and Tapas on the Hill, offering a taste of Spain in the middle of Italy, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Guido's pays tribute to America's enduring freedom for 250 years and thanks all those that protect and preserve that freedom.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
4th of July savings are happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Upgrade your kitchen with a modern and sleek GE Profile refrigerator featuring hands-free autofill for the perfect pour every time. And make laundry day easier with 2-in-1 washer-dryer combo innovation that completes laundry in about 90 minutes. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th through July 8th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer. That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on-site at Newsetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
You're enjoying your 4th of July weekend, talking with some friends and family, and all of a sudden someone comes up with an idea for a family trip. Great idea. What's your first phone call? Your first, middle, and last phone call should be to Altair Travel and Cruises. You don't want to go online. Don't go to the Googles. Altair Travel and Cruises knows where all the pitfalls are. In fact, Altair Travel and Cruises is considered one of the largest and best travel agents in the country. It's amazing because St. Louis is just not that big of a market, and so they're out kicking their coverage, which means they have power when it comes to these travel companies, and so they're able to use that power to help their customers get the best deal, whether it's the better hotels, the better timing, and everything else. So for all of your travel needs, once you decide you want to travel, whether you want to know where you're going or you don't know, Altair Travel and Cruises is where you're starting. 314-968-9600. Then you enjoy the trip. Altair Travel or altairtravel.com.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
8:37 on Tuesday morning. You're listening to the Big 550 KTRS. Mark Maxwell in the big chair for McGraw this week. He's back Monday. Man, it's hot out there. As we sit here in the middle of a hot St. Louis summer, maybe it's the right time to start thinking about palm trees, family memories, maybe even a little Christmas magic at Disney. We're halfway there, right? Sherry Norris from Altair Travel and Cruises joins us this morning to talk about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at Walt Disney World and what families should know before they book, some Disney Cruise Line specials that could make the dream trip a little easier to plan. Sherry, good morning.
Good morning. Happy halfway to the holidays.
Yeah, the 2026 halfway over, but it's not over yet. For those of us that are just really sweating through a sunburned summer right now, Disney's already thinking Christmas, right? What makes it a special experience for families who are looking to plan ahead?
Well, where can I start? I mean, Disney is such a magical place anyway, and then you add Christmas on top of that. And one year I got to be lucky enough to be there where one day it wasn't Christmas, you went to bed and you woke up the next morning and it was Christmas everywhere in Walt Disney World. But they really do the holidays upright. And at the Magic Kingdom, they have Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on select evenings. It is a separate ticketed event, but they do have special events during that party evening. So you can enter the park as early as 4. The official party doesn't start until like 7 o'clock. But you have a special Christmas parade. There are special shows, including Anna and Elsa and Olaf, but Mickey and all your traditional friends as well. There's dance parties. It snows on Main Street. Santa is there. They give out cookies and hot cocoa. And you have special character greetings, too, where everybody's decked out in their festive best. And there are some specials at the resorts. Up to 20% off during this time period on select days, and at various resorts, the discount may be a little bit different. But the Very Merry Christmas Party starts November 8th, and it runs through December 22nd. Now, it's not every night, but there's dates within those dates. They also are bringing back at Disney Hollywood Studios Disney's Jollywood Nights, where they have fireworks, they have a special overlay where they have lasers and projections onto Mann's Chinese Theater. They have a special skating show, and they have a Night Before Christmas sing-along. And there you enter the park at 5:30. The party starts at 7:30, and you party all the way until 12:30 in the morning.
Well, that sounds like a Carl the Intern kind of party.
Yes, it is. Carl embraces his Disney adult. I'm very proud of him.
Thank you, Sherry. In fact, I'll be there Thursday night after the show.
See, he practices what he preaches. This is truth in advertising, as it were.
It will be. I've been down there for the Very Merry, and I've been there for the Jolly Days. And it is, the funny thing is, Sherry, here's something. The first week of December is when they film the Disney Christmas special that they show on ABC on Christmas morning. So if you're there the first week, you get to see them film that.
Oh,
that
little
would
extra
be
side quest.
Lots of fun. Yes. And then Epcot has their International Festival of the Holidays. That isn't a special ticketed event. So you can go throughout the world. You'll see their different traditions. They'll have special holiday food. And then also they have their candlelight processional, which is very popular, which is the Christmas story, and they have guest narrators, and then they have a full choir sing. And even if you're not, lucky enough, you don't stand in line to sit in the seats, you can still experience it outside of the theater because it's an open air theater. So I got to see it a couple of years ago when Andy Garcia narrated, and it was just really moving, and it just puts you in the Christmas spirit.
Well, Sherry, I've only been to Disney World when it was hot out, and I had a smoked turkey leg, and it was really just.
It's in the same area. It's in the America part.
That's the same spot?
Yes.
So, I mean, here you are 6 months out, and you're forecasting snow in Orlando. Yes. That sounds pretty magical.
Yes, it is very magical. And, I can't tell you how many times I've been to Magic Kingdom, and when you first walk in and you turn the corner and you see Cinderella's castle, I mean, I get goosebumps every time. And when you see people who see it for the first time, and how even, teenagers stop and they're like, oh my goodness. And I mean, that's saying a lot for teenagers nowadays who are always in their phones and everything like that, to stop and see and be like in awe. And it makes everyone feel like a kid.
Cinderella was cool, but I was always more into Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Anything in it for guys like me?
Well, yes, there is Belle at the Magic Kingdom. They have a whole area. You can do fairy tales with Belle. You can eat in the castle. There's just all sorts of things in that newer area of Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom.
So for
and you
parents,
can meet Belle in person.
Well, okay. See, that's a perk. Now you've got me interested. For parents or grandparents who are listening this morning, and maybe they're thinking, "Hey, this sounds great, but I don't even know where to start here." What's the first conversation they should have with you?
Well, if they've been before, how many people are going? I urge people to plan a lot of time so you can plan some downtime as well, not try to go for 4 days and go to parks for 4 days, because the kids want to be, all the Disney resorts have wonderful pools and areas like that for some downtime. So you want to plan downtime as well. So, first I look at, when you want to go, how much time you have, and what are your favorites. Like you said, your favorites is Belle, and, kind of plan things so we make sure that you get some of the favorites in there.
I was really more just kind of playing the brunette and blonde thing, but.
Right. There you go.
But yeah, so it sounds like people, here's my problem too, Sherry, from Altair Travel and Cruises. I don't even know what I'm doing for lunch today. Some of you people are planning your calendar 6 months in advance. Is that common?
It is common, especially for a Disney trip if you want to go during a special time. Like if you only have to go in March, or you only, want to go around the holidays. Now, it's a wide berth here of when the holidays are, from November 8th through December. And just like they have their Halloween celebrations and the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, that starts in August 5th to October 31st, that you can do the Halloween party. So, yes, it is important. And the opening days for selling tickets for these events for Christmas, they're going to open up on July 9th to start selling the admission tickets for the Christmas party if you already have a Disney resort reservation. If you don't, then you have to wait until July 16th to make your reservation. And certain dates will sell out. Now, granted, there'll still be more dates. And I wouldn't recommend necessarily, unless it's the only time you can go like the week of Thanksgiving, because that's when it's going to be crowded.
Yeah.
But there are plenty other dates. And instead of going to the park that day, because it is a separate ticketed admission, you can go a little bit early at 4:00 and do some of the regular things before the party starts at 7:00.
Well, those who are looking to pack a bag and go to Orlando, to Disney World for the Christmas season, you can call 314-620-8481 or 314-420-8980.
Wait, no.
Is that not right?
No, sorry, no. The phone number is 314-968-9600, and that's Altair Travel and Cruises.
Beautiful. I had the wrong numbers here. Thanks for the fact check. All right,
Yes.
Sherry Norris has got you covered. Give us that number one more time, because I gave the wrong number. We got to correct it.
Okay, 314-968-9600.
We almost had somebody dialing up the wrong place. They'd be so confused.
Yes, they would be. And
All right.
they'd be wondering why they were getting calls about Disney World.
Yeah. Well, Sherry, thanks for your time. It sounds like a lovely time out there. We appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark.
Captain Paul Kopsky standing by in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center with a look at...
Well, Mark, not much, actually. 5570 is slow in both directions between Illinois 203 and 111. 64 East bugs down around 170, and the signals are on red flash at Gravois and Higgy. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
from the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk. Local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
Well, the dangerous heat wave rolls on, and this pattern is not going to change anytime soon. So, sunshine today, up to 98 this afternoon, but it will feel like 107, even hotter out in the full sun. Clear skies tonight, but little relief from the heat, 79 for the low in St. Louis. A nearly identical day tomorrow, 98 Wednesday afternoon with a top heat index of 106. Some spotty storms possible from Thursday through the 4th of July, with the heat finally backing down, we think, Sunday into Monday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
A friend of mine recently needed implants, and they found themselves at a corporate dentist. You know, she never actually met the dentist. She met with the financing department 3 or 4 times, and she met with maybe a nurse once or twice, but never with the dentist. Then I said, look, go to my friend Dr. Bowen at Bowen Dental Care. Not only was Dr. Bowen there the entire time, he held her hand through the whole consultation, and that's what a real dentist does, and that's why Dr. Bowen is considered the best when it comes to dental implants. He is a full-service dentistry and also dental implants, because so many dentists don't want to do the extra work, the extra training, the extra ongoing education. But at Bowen Dental Care, he has been the go-to as a traditional dentist as well as implants for many, many years. So if you've got implants in your future, Dr. Bowen has 2 locations, South County off Lee May Ferry Road and on Dunn Road, just down the street from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Bowen, Boain, or simply securedentures.com.
Jill Farmer for my friends at Patriot Build Sunrooms and Luna Builds. Combining the capabilities of these 2 excellent companies allows them to create any outdoor space you imagine. It's going to add value to your home, and you're going to love it. This makes them unique in St. Louis. Essentially, if you can dream it, they can build it. From the highest level custom finishes to more user-friendly projects, their craftsmen will make it a reality. Give Patriot a call for a free design consultation, 314-822-3232, or visit their Crookwood showroom online, patriotbuildsstl.com.
Let's face it, most people are not thinking about planning a funeral, but planning ahead can bring you significant savings by locking in today's prices. Lakeview Funeral Home and Memorial Gardens in Fairview Heights is part of Dignity Memorial. They've been an essential part of the community for generations and believe a funeral service or cremation memorial should be as unique as the person it honors. Receive low-interest options on prepaid cremation property and burial plans, and up to 10% off cemetery property and funeral plans. Experience the dignity difference. Call Lakeview Funeral Home and Memorial Gardens at 618-233-7200 to schedule a pre-planning appointment. Online at dignitymemorial.com.
The St. Louis Chess Club is a newly expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art chess center featuring world-class tournament playing halls, classrooms, library, and casual play spaces for everyone who loves the game.
But it's so much more than a place to play.
It's where champions are built on the board, in the classroom, and across the community, with a mission to bring the game to everyone from all levels, with membership starting at just $15 a month.
Discover the excitement, the challenge, and the community of chess at stlouischessclub.org.
It's the half-price sale at Miller Furniture and Mattress, going on now through July 7th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, save half off our list price on all in-stock items and get up to 60 months special financing.
Right now, it's half price on all Chatham & Wells mattresses when you purchase an adjustable base. Plus, up to $600 off select adjustable mattress sets from Stearns & Foster and Tempur-Pedic.
Take a seat and try out FlexSteel's newest custom comfort reclining sofas in the largest selection of their popular Z-Cliner collection sofas and lift chairs. Plus, the largest selection of Amish-made furniture with quick ship custom orders as fast as 3 weeks and half off. Visit any of our 4 showrooms in Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, or Ellisville on Manchester Road. Don't miss the half-price sale at Miller Furniture, now through July 7th. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
Happy and safe 4th of July from Brown & Brown Personal Injury Attorneys. If you've been hurt on the road or at work, call 314-333-3333 or online at brownlawoffice.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
8:52 on Tuesday morning. You're listening to Michael Jackson.
The Jacksons.
Oh, the Jacksons.
It's not just Michael. It's he and his 4 brothers.
Yeah, no Jackson erasure here. Give them all credit. It's the Big 550 KTRS. We have a couple different TV screens up in the radio studio, and one of them a moment ago had a headline that said TSA found a hand grenade inside a peanut butter jar. In their defense, I've thought of worse ways to try and get the last bits of peanut butter out of the jar.
Ayo.
You know what I mean? Like, you ever had that sometimes the bottom third, it can get kind of tricky.
I mean, there's chunky and then there's chunky with a grenade.
I always find it like fascinating. At the end of the year, there's always a report, the stuff that got through or the stuff they caught at the airport. It's wild. Like hundreds and hundreds of people a year just forget they have a loaded gun. What?
What is this? Some kind of bowling ball candle? Keep it moving. There's a Seinfeld did something like that. That is, yeah, right? Like that they just forget, oh, I didn't realize that I had a...
I know 2 people who brought, one was unloaded, one was loaded. One of them got through to Washington, D.C. with it and got caught on the way going back.
Oof. Now, how does that... I mean, that's got to go on one of those TSA agents' performance review at the end of the year. You let the guy through. Somebody from the 314 texts in, sticky situation.
Ayo.
We can do better.
Do they have where do they keep all the stuff that they confiscate at TSA?
That's a great,
you know
what? I have wondered that. Do they auction it off?
I want to say it's in Georgia. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a warehouse and then they sell stuff after X amount of time.
Isn't that's the lost luggage though?
Yeah, but they have all the other stuff too, I think.
Could you imagine?
Can you claim your own stuff back? Is there like
If
a
you can
period of
prove it,
time?
probably.
If you bid high enough.
Hey, you took my gun that time I tried to sneak a loaded gun on the airplane. Can I have it back, please?
Oh, you got to bid for it.
2 people I know. One of them found it in his bag at the airport and got rid of it, and the other one made it halfway.
Now, what do you do if you're about to board a plane to go to a friend's wedding? And I'm going to say this isn't like you're not the best man. It's just like it's an acquaintance, right? It's a friend, but it's not like your best friend. But you're also a big gun guy, and it's your favorite handgun. And they say, well, you got to give me your gun. And you're like, I either got to keep my gun and skip this flight, or I got to get on the plane and go to this wedding and lose my gun. What do you do? What does a gun guy do? I don't know. It's like you got to sacrifice a prized possession. And then is that your wedding gift? Like, hey, man, you don't know how much I had to pay to be here.
Yeah, well, if I was the wedding person inviting you, and I'd be like, well, you're bad for getting at a loaded weapon
Why
to
were you
bring on the
bringing
plane.
a gun to my wedding?
And your favorite gun, no less. Yeah.
What was your intent? Oh, boy.
There are ways to safely bring weapons on planes.
You got to check the bag, and you got to lock
luggage,
it,
yes.
and you got to unload it. You got to do all the things.
This is my emotional support Glock.
Oh, boy. Okay. Captain Paul Copsey's got an eye on the roads. He knows what's out your windshield. Captain Paul, what's up?
I was going to say McGraw. Mark, an accident.
Put $1 in the jar.
I'll do it. An accident on 270 East at Riverview is causing stop-and-go traffic back to Lilac. 5570 East is slow between 203 and 111. 64 East bogs down around 170, and the signals are on red flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Pat Leahy's building me a deck, and I can't be any more excited. I've been talking about outdoor living now for years, and they've helped me with some other projects throughout the years, but this one's the big one. This is the deck, and I know that when they're finished, they are going to put a 50-year warranty on that deck, and that means Emerson's going to be 75 years old before the warranty runs out on that deck. See, the wood today, the pressure-treated wood isn't as good as the pressure-treated wood from years ago. It bows, it warps. The sun and the heat and the rain and the freezing, that all does damage to the wood. It just doesn't last the way it used to, and so Outdoor Living made the switch. They use that metal framing, composite decking, the beautiful guardrails, the beautiful handrails, the drink rails, the lights, all of it. Outdoor Living will build it, and they'll build it right. So for all of your outdoor living needs, you want to do it right, and you want to make sure it's done right, and you want a 50-year warranty. Outdoor living. It all starts at the showroom at Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. 314-996-3325 or Outdoor Living, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Discover how you can make lasting summer memories with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're envisioning a new backyard oasis or an unforgettable family getaway, you can enjoy peace of mind with flexible, convenient funding to turn your dreams into reality. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com today to learn how you can apply for a home equity line of credit. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Proudly family-owned and operated since 1971, Di Gregorio's at the corner of Daggett and Marconi on the Hill has become a true staple for authentic Italian groceries, homemade specialties, fresh meats, cheeses, wine, and all your Italian favorites. From our family to yours, we're wishing you a safe, happy 4th of July as America celebrates 250 years.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. This hour, the Supreme Court is handing down the final rulings of its term. The biggest case, whether President Trump's executive order denying birthright citizenship to children born to undocumented immigrants or those in the country temporarily. Another big case involves trans women in sports, says ABC's Karen Waugh.
The justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams. 15-year-old Becky Pepper Jackson sued to overturn West Virginia's ban.
I've been a girl forever, and playing on the guys' team is going backwards.
The state argues banning transgender girls will keep competition fair. But Becky's family says she never went through male puberty and has no physical advantage.
A federal judge in Washington today is hearing arguments on the Trump administration's ban on transgender service members as well. Indirect but not face-to-face talks taking place in Doha over a permanent ceasefire in Iran. One big sticking point, the Strait of Hormuz, including ridding it of mines. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says of the Iranians,
they simply don't have the equipment nor the know-how. They could contribute because they're the ones that actually put the mines in the strait in the first place, so they could help with those that have the expertise in finding them. But it's clear they don't want to have any other involvement in the strait. They view this as their biggest benefit for this entire war. They could control a key waterway, 21% of the world's energy supply in perpetuity now.
Advice from emergency room doctor Trevor Lewis on surviving the blisteringly hot temperatures across much of the country this week.
If you're going to be out in the warm weather, hydrate first. Try to stay ahead. So drink maybe 12 to 16 ounces of fluid before you go out and maybe 6 ounces every 20, 30 minutes.
At least 160 million Americans are under some sort of heat advisory. You're listening to ABC News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download
Download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code PROGRAM25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROGRAM25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PROGRAM25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
82 degrees at 9:03. The chief of police is once again calling for a downtown curfew in St. Louis on the 4th of July after a shooting near Energizer Park this past weekend. Thousands attending a City 2 match were forced to shelter in place after shots were fired at an apartment complex just a few blocks away from the stadium. Following the shooting, Police Chief Robert Tracy has requested the city implement an 8 p.m. curfew during 4th of July festivities downtown and in downtown West. It comes as the city prepares for Celebrate St. Louis at the Gateway Arch, an event that has been the site of multiple violent incidents in recent years. Seniors in St. Charles County are getting extra time to apply for the Senior Real Estate Property Tax Relief Program. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Sorry, that is my fault. I had it muted. Jill, take it away.
Voters wanting to do their homework before the August 4th primary can now dig into the voter guide compiled by the St. Charles County Election Authority. KTRS's Brendan Weesey has the story.
The voter guide for each political party contains responses from candidates as well as the full ballot language approved by the Missouri Secretary of State. Each candidate on the ballot was given the opportunity to submit a biography and goals to inform voters. The voter guide is available online at sccmo.org/voter guide. Meanwhile, the August 4th primary is projected to draw 40% of the registered voters in St. Charles County compared to 25% for a typical August primary. The last time a 40% voter turnout happened in St. Charles County for an August primary was in 2018, when a contentious labor issue, right to work, was on the ballot. Brendan Weesey, KTRS News.
Boeing's sixth-generation fighter jet will be assembled in North County. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held yesterday for the brand-new Advanced Robotic Coding Center at Boeing's Berkeley site, where the fighter jet will be built. It's expected to bring more jobs to the area. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs, and you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. In KTRS Sports, Cards and Braves begin a series in Atlanta tonight. Matthew Liberatore hopes to bounce back after some recent struggles. He'll be opposed by fellow Southpaw veteran Martin Perez. Former linebacker Nick Bolton will be the latest inductee to the Mizzou Sports Hall of Fame. Bolton was informed of the honor this week by his head coach with the Chiefs, a former Tiger himself, Andy Reid. In KTRS Time Saver Traffic, let's go to the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center for a look at the roads where we find Captain Paul Kopsky standing by.
Rosen accident on 270 East at Riverview has been cleared. 5570 East is slow between Illinois 203 and 111. 64 East bogs down around 170, and the signals are on red flash at Gravois and Higgy. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. And now let's take a look at the markets brought to you by JBL Financial. You can tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 right here on the Big 550. The Dow is up 44 points to 52,300. The S&P is up 26 points to 7,500. And the NASDAQ is up 197 points to 26,100. Taking a look at your KTRS forecast, an extreme heat warning remains in effect. It's been extended until Friday at 10 p.m. Sunny and hot today, high of 96. It'll feel like 111. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 75. And tomorrow, sunny with a high of 93, and it'll feel like 105. It's 82 degrees right now at 9:07. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Look now, but the heat and the humidity is fast approaching. And when it happens, Gelmish & Sons is going to be busy. That's what they do because they are the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. And they've earned that reputation after 76 years of hard work. We know these hedge funds come in, they buy up these family names, they fire everybody, they jack up the prices, and then they give these heating and cooling companies a bad name. Well, at Gelmish & Sons, the family that opened the doors 76 years ago still runs it today. In fact, they have people who've worked there for 25, 30. In one instance, Sean Thornton has worked there for 41 years. They won't let him retire, but that's a whole other story. You want somebody you can trust, and that is Gelmish & Sons. So for all of your heating and cooling needs going forward in the heat and the humidity of St. Louis, they're going to be busy, but they're busy because they're fixing everyone's air conditioner. 314-993-1110, 314-993-1110, or GelmishAndSons.com. Since 1950, family run and proud of it. Gelmish or GelmishAndSons.com.
You've spent years building your retirement savings. How do you turn those savings into income that you can rely on? Hear more on the Financial Safari with local trusted advisor Greg Belger, Sundays at 5 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
For 6 generations, the name Edwards has stood for unwavering trust in wealth management. At Benjamin F. Edwards, we're fiercely independent and remain committed to putting our clients first. America's the greatest nation on earth, and this 4th of July, we want to thank all those that have sacrificed, protected, and continue to protect America's independence for 250 years.
Member SIPC.
Golf season is in full swing, and if you want to improve your game, visit Bander Park Golf Center, Sunset Hills' beautiful driving range located at Highway 30 in West Watson. Bander Park and the city of Sunset Hills wish you a happy and safe 4th of July weekend while we pay tribute to all those who've protected our freedom for 250 years.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Zippers Up. I'm getting ready to MC the Mater Media Speaker Series. Woo, we're bringing in some big names: Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, John O'Leary, other national personalities. We're going to be at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts, Lindenwood University, beginning in September. Go to matermedia.org. That's MATERMEDIA.org. Early bird pricing going on now. Don't wait. Tickets are going fast.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
Elevate your next event with STL Bartenders to Go, providing full bar packages, rental bar equipment, and bartender and server staffing. Book now and get 10% off all bar packages. STL Bartenders to Go. We'll get your party on. STLBartendersToGo.com.
The Big 550.
KTRS St. Louis.
If it's time to replace your windows and doors, choose Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis. Pella's trusted local experts work in your area and within your budget, backed by the most preferred window and door brand by homeowners. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Study of homeowner perceptions of leading national brands. Study commissioned by Pella 2023.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it. This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
The Supreme Court today entered one of the country's most emotional debates, the place where law, identity, competition and childhood all meet on the playing field. It's 9:12 on Tuesday morning. I'm Mark Maxwell in for McGraw this morning. It's a ruling just down from the Supreme Court involving West Virginia and Idaho. The court says states may preserve women's and girls' sports for biological females, concluding that Title IX and the Constitution do not require schools to make exceptions for transgender girls seeking to compete on girls' teams. Justice Brett Kavanaugh writes for the majority. He frames the ruling around the history of Title IX and the growth of women's athletics. The court said separate teams for men and women have long been understood as part of equal opportunity, not a violation of it, and that states may draw a biological sex line to protect safety and competitive fairness. Now for the dissent. The justices who dissent warn that the majority has answered too much too soon here. Justice Sonia Sotomayor writes that the case involves unresolved fact questions about one student's experience, about one state's law, and about whether the state's concerns actually applied in the way it claimed. The ruling now stands as one of the most consequential decisions yet on transgender rights and women's sports. And you can be sure there will be much discussed on cable news channels for the next 24 hours about this case. The implications will echo far beyond the courthouse. We'll see this in schools, in locker rooms, in state legislatures, and in homes across the country. States that have not yet written restrictions on transgender athletes in girls' sports may now be free to do so. And so we will see how that goes. There is one other big case that we are waiting to see. How will this go? The case about birthright citizenship. Who belongs? Who is an American? Who has a right to be here by birth? And that is the one big case left on the docket that the Supreme Court justices are going to hand down any moment now. And so we are watching that, waiting to bring you that news. While we do, earlier today, we started talking a bit about St. Louis public schools. Blythe Bernard, a reporter at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, was covering school board activities and has a new story up on the Post-Dispatch website right now. This is a big story. Honestly, it's one of those stories where everyone's going to be mad for a different reason. Last year, you might remember this. I know we covered it at KSDK. The school district was looking at a plan to close more than half of its schools. 37 out of 68 schools closed. That's not a downsizing. That's a school district Thanos snap. Half the buildings gone. At the time, the proposal didn't even say which schools. It was like, good morning, parents. We may be closing half the district. Please enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It didn't go over very well, as you can imagine. Now they're back with a new plan, and this one says, okay, maybe not half, maybe just a third, which is better in the same way that being punched once is better than being punched twice, I guess. The new proposal would close about 20 of the district's 62 schools by fall of next year. 17 elementary schools are on the closure list in every scenario. McKinley and Clyde C. Miller High Schools would close by 2030. Some specialized programs there would stay. The district says enrollment has dropped about 60% since the early 1990s, and in many cases, buildings are operating at or less than half capacity. That means the budget deficit, the cost of upkeeping all those big old brick buildings, has ballooned to $41 million a year. So yeah, the math is ugly. And this is the part where everybody wants a villain. But the villain here might just be reality. You've got too many big, costly buildings, not enough kids, not enough money, too much deferred maintenance, leaky pipes, leaky roofs, transportation costs.
A tornado that drove a lot of people out of the city.
Don't forget the tornado damage that literally hit 4 of the schools. And then the big obvious one, decades of population loss. We live in a shrinking city. That's a hard reality. It's an ugly truth. We've got to embrace it. This is not just one bad superintendent. This is not explained away by one story about some receipts and some, reimbursements that look bad on an expense report. It's not one bad board or one bad year. This is the kind of slow motion civic collapse that has finally arrived with a thud. Now, here's the thing. We're going to hear consultants and we're going to hear, maybe lobbyists or policymakers use words like right sizing and portfolio planning, sustainable facilities. I get it. That's the kind of language that districts use because saying, hey, we're going to close your kid's school. That just sounds a little too blunt, a little too human. But to a parent, this isn't about right-sizing anything. This is about the door where their kid walks in every morning, where they hear the bell ring. It's the teacher who knows their kid is quiet, and maybe that's a sign that something's wrong. It's the secretary who knows the grandma's phone number when something goes wrong, boom. It's the familiar bus stop. It's the smell of that cafeteria. It's the old building down the street with the same name that everybody in the neighborhood still recognizes. Even when they haven't been there in 20 years, they still ask you, where'd you go to high school? And now the district's saying, hey, well, the upside here, we can make the remaining schools stronger. Yeah, that's the promise. Better resources, more consistent academics, better access to nurses and counselors and social workers, more teachers per student, fewer half-empty buildings eating up money that could go to kids and education. That part sounds reasonable, right? Consolidate so that you're not spreading yourself so thin. But here's the big question. Will parents believe that? Will parents of young school age and near school age children believe that if they close a third of the schools, the remaining 2/3 of the schools will immediately improve? Because that's the reason why parents leave the city of St. Louis at a rate faster than any other population demographic. Because St. Louis families have heard promises before. They've seen schools close before. They've seen leadership turnover. They've seen plans like this come and go. And the one constant, they've seen the school system shrink and shrink and then shrink again. And in a city with a proud history of public education. At some point, people start to wonder, is this rebuilding really? Or is this just decline with a fancy PowerPoint attached to it? So here's the wild part. The district, according to the story in the Post-Dispatch, the SLPS school district may come back to voters and ask for you to approve a $200 million bond issue in 2027. Help us borrow more money. We're going to close a third of the schools, but we need some cash now. So imagine being a parent. First, they tell you they might close your kid's school. Then they tell you, don't worry, it's going to make the system stronger. Hey, can I have some more money? Good luck to that consultant on that campaign. That's a tough sales pitch. Good news, everybody. We're closing schools, cutting jobs, changing bus routes. And later, we might need your vote for $200 million. Who's excited? Nobody's excited. But here's the other ugly truth. Doing nothing, that's not really a plan either. Just letting inertia happen, letting the status quo happen, letting the shrinking continue, that's no plan. That's what makes this story so tough. The easy, emotional, knee-jerk reaction here is don't close my school. And look, I get that, right? Totally understandable reaction. The hard financial answer is You just can't run a school district forever with buildings that are half full and a year-over-year $41 million deficit. There is no free lunch. Both are true. So that's why this is kind of a brutal local story. I'm sure there will be a lot of coverage. It's not just budget math. It's not just nostalgia about the smell of your high school hallway. And it's not just politics. This is basically everything St. Louis has been avoiding packed into one sad list that might have your favorite school's name on it. That name that means something to you. The name that was on the jersey or on the doorway. The district's basically saying, hey, look, we're too big for the number of students we serve. Parents are saying, yeah, but don't make my kid pay for decades of your failure. Taxpayers would rightfully ask, where did all the money go? Teachers might be asking, am I going to have a job? And neighborhoods are saying, wait a minute, what happens to my property value when those lights go out? Kids are the ones who are going to have to live with the answer. They're usually the last people we ask about stories like this. So, yeah, closing a third of the schools may be better than closing half, but better is not the same as good. If SLPS wants people to buy this plan, they're going to have to do a little bit more than just say the words well-resourced schools. They're going to have to prove it, that the kids who get moved end up somewhere better. Not just different, better. Because if this ends up being just another shell game where students leave one struggling building for another struggling building with a longer bus ride, then please spare us the consultant's language. If this is a painful but necessary surgery that gives the district, or the patient in this case, a chance to stabilize and heal, then spell out your diagnosis and say that part too. Don't hide the pain, because people want to know, how's this going to work? When are we going to be on track? The old map no longer fits the city. The question that we have now is this: can St. Louis draw a smaller map without abandoning the kids that still live in it? That's the big question. So population loss and shrinking cities, these are tough questions. Our leaders face some of the toughest decisions that this city has ever seen. You don't get reelected on this one. Hate to say it. It's a tough call, and it's going to be difficult for families and parents alike, but that's the decision. A big story in the Post-Dispatch that they're the SLPS considering closing a third of schools across the city. And you can see a picture of a collapsing school with a roof that's caving in on the headline there. So go read Blythe Bernard's reporting in the Post-Dispatch and text your thoughts, as many of you are already, into the Country Club Car Wash text line, 84126. Captain Paul Kopsky has got your traffic report. He's standing by right now.
And Mark, in Illinois, 5570 west is slow between 255 and Black Lane. Checking some drive times, it's just 6 minutes from 70 at the Blanchette Bridge to the airport, a 9-minute ride from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson, and 7 minutes from 170 and St. Charles Rock Road down to 64. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Way go for the USA! He has done it! What a goal!
It's time for a CarShield Sportsplex 2026 Summer of Soccer Update. Presented by Royal Banks of Missouri and Regonzi's.
What a day, the first full day of knockout rounds. 2 matches go to penalty kicks. First in the late night, the run for the Dutch is over. Morocco advances, winning 3-2 in PKs after drawing 1-1 through extra time. Morocco will advance to play Canada in the round of 16. Another stunner, Paraguay, after they play Germany 1-1 through extra time, they beat the Germans 4-3 in penalty kicks to advance, possibly now awaiting France, who will play later today. And Brazil scoring their game winner during stoppage time to beat Japan 2-1. This CarShield Sportsplex Summer of Soccer update presented by Yenzer Family Dental, Spas and More, STL, Brown & Brown Attorneys at Law, River City Tree Service, and Dents Express on the Big 550.
This has been the CarShield Sportsplex 2026 Summer of Soccer update on the Talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS.
In 1954, Grandpa Beatty started Beatty Roofing, and they were then just a commercial roofer. In fact, they were considered one of the big 4. They handled some of the biggest roofs in St. Louis, whether it's the St. Louis Science Center, the Magic House Convention Center, and you only get those jobs when your reputation is stellar. Well, a couple of years ago, Beatty decided to bring that great expertise in the commercial roofing industry down to the local residents, because the local people here in St. Louis, they deserved a quality roofer too. And so Beatty Roofing opened up the residential section of Beatty Roofing. And all they've done is turn the industry upside down. At Beatty Roofing, each and every job has a project manager, has an extra set of eyes and ears. Beatty Roofing, again, been around a long time, big supporters of St. Louis charities, and also big supporter of first responders. Tell Beatty Roofing you're a first responder. Get 10% off your roof. Beatty Roofing or BeattyRoofing.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I want your fixer-upper home. It's crazy to spend a ton of money fixing it up when I will pay you top dollar right now. I don't even care what condition it's in. Your trash is my treasure. No inspections, no contingencies, just cold, hard cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's Mike Robinson, 314-283-0867, or at ROBANGproperties.com.
Calling all Metro East residents. The weather may be unpredictable, but that doesn't mean your home comfort has to be. From emergency heating and cooling emergencies and repairs to new systems and yearly maintenance checks, you can feel confident that you're ready for whatever Mother Nature throws at you with the help from the friends at Viviano. Get quality, reliable service every time, any season. Go to their website, vivianoair.com. That's vivianoair.com. Train, the most reliable name in heating and cooling around. It's hard to stop a train.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the Talk of St. Louis.
Now, back to McGraw, presented by London Chevrolet, the London Autoplex, and London.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
(9:32) on Tuesday morning. Mark Maxwell in for McGraw on the Big 550 KTRS. Love you guys texting in 84126 on the Country Club Car Wash text line. A whole lot of great feedback. One person talking about the shrinking city and the new report in the Post-Dispatch that a third of schools could be closed. Population loss, the 314 says, is why we need immigrants. You know what? A demographer at St. Louis University, Ness Sandoval, agrees with you. His analysis says that's the fastest growing population. And often they reproduce and have a lot of kids faster, at rates faster than the average American family. And that's something that really bolsters your future population growth. Okay, there's some analysis. Good to know. We're on Supreme Court watch. You ever wonder how things just sort of happen that way? Coincidence, whatever, I don't know. McGraw took the week off, and I cover politics down at Channel 5, KSDK. And here I am sitting in the chair at the very moment, yesterday and today, the final 2 days of the Supreme Court's term, when some of these big Supreme Court decisions come down. And I just happen to be one of those nerds who quickly downloads the PDF file from the Supreme Court website. And we got one 51-pager here, one 77-pager there. And next thing you know, I've learned a lot about the way lawyers snipe at each other with the written word. It's pretty funny seeing the way lawyers can hide digs in these Supreme Court decisions. But we're on Supreme Court watch. They just ruled that competitive sports and states can limit girls' sports to the biological sex at birth, and that transgender athletes may be banned from competing in girls' sports. Brett Kavanaugh writing that one there. But there's a new decision out now that has to do with campaign finance. And you can be sure, if you're watching the Missouri 1st Congressional District, Cori Bush and Wesley Bell, if you're watching that, that's going to be a race where campaign finance is going to be a big deal. Here's the deal in this case. It's a little complex, but the Supreme Court has basically decided that political parties can spend unlimited amounts of money in coordination with specific candidates. So the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, they can spend as much money as they want helping a candidate. Because, okay, I'm paraphrasing here, but not by much. Parties and candidates coordinating is kind of the whole point of parties and candidates. The majority says, look, the First Amendment provides that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. And because campaign spending is speech, the court has said, then limits on party spending are limits on speech. Fine. That by itself, classic First Amendment frame. Very clean. But then the dissent comes in and says, have you people met politics? Have you met politicians? Justice Elena Kagan's dissent is kind of like a guided tour through the plumbing under the campaign finance sink. Say a donor can give $7,000 directly to a candidate through a joint fundraising setup. Kagan says a donor can now cut a check for $551,300. That money can move through all different kinds of party committees. So you can cut a check to this party committee, that party committee, and it can all end up with the national party, right? Stay with me. Now, after this ruling, the party can use all that money to pay the candidate's bills, or in Kagan's phrase, the way she wrote it, the party becomes an alternative checking account for a campaign. Get the truck and load it up to the dock, right? I mean, go get the what do they call the wheelbarrow? Go get the bag of cash. Just wheel it up there and take away the haul. The majority says, calm down. We still have laws against earmarking and disclosure requirements in place, and we have contribution limits on each person or individual. So this is one of those weird terms that pops up in the opinion. And you got to actually look at this to believe it. It's got we have prophylaxis on prophylaxis, basically saying like there's all kinds of protections here to prevent quid pro quo corruption. Sounds less like constitutional law and more like a CVS receipt. So it's just interesting. Fewer caps on political contributions. That's the big one. And I think we may have the one we're waiting for is the big one. The 14th Amendment case on birthright citizenship. Has it just come down? We're looking.
Yes.
I'm seeing some sign that it's come down. I'm just not seeing the actual case file
They
yet.
have upheld birthright citizenship, invalidating the president's executive order.
I'm seeing that reported on some channels, but I have not seen the document yet. So just out of exercise of caution, I'll let them say what they want to say. I like to see the document.
I understand what you're saying.
I believe it. I believe that they're not being irresponsible. We're seeing some reports that the Supreme Court has done. And by the way, Chief Justice John Roberts, when the Trump administration, in fact, John Sauer, the Solicitor General, a St. Louis lawyer, was arguing in front of the court that people who come here with kids from other countries, the kids that are born here, rather, when he was arguing they're not necessarily entitled to citizenship, Chief Justice John Roberts said it may be a new world, but it's the same Constitution. And Sauer was arguing, yeah, well, when the Constitution was written in the 1870s, this amendment, the 14th Amendment in the 1870s, they didn't anticipate global airfare and air travel, that people could, get on ships and planes and be here overnight. And so you saw the early clue from the Chief Justice that they probably weren't looking too kindly on the president's push to upend the 14th Amendment's promise of birthright citizenship. We are seeing reporting on CNN that the decision is down, on Fox News that it's down, and here is the document. So we'll go through this, and when we come back after the break, we'll be able to dig into it a little more in detail and give you some analysis and some insights on how they reached this decision, what they got here. It's 194 pages. Goodness. Whoa. They saved the big one for last. So 194 pages. This is breaking news, guys. We are right now watching breaking news come down and bringing it to you over the airwaves just as quickly as we can. But there are the decisions. Transgender bans on girls' sports are allowed under the Supreme Court. Contribution caps that limit political parties' involvement in candidates, no longer allowed, not permitted. And the 14th Amendment stays intact. So the president and the Department of Homeland Security will not be able to strip people of their citizenship if they were born here. So those are the three big things coming down. We have a text in the Country Club Car Wash text line. Someone here who says from the 314, campaign contributions are bribes. No, they're not. Have you ever liked a politician before? Have you ever given them money? You ever believed in their cause? What if you had given $50 to the campaign for Abraham Lincoln? Would you have been bribing him? I get it. You're probably saying corporate contributions and when lobbyists give you money and everybody who happens to work at one company lines up to line the campaign coffers of one particular candidate. Maybe that looks a little fishy. Okay, you've got my interest. But generally speaking, that your money is your property. And your words and your right of association, your speech, that's protected. Can't you use your property to propel your speech? That's basically what the Supreme Court has said about Citizens United, that you can use your money and your wealth, and companies too, by the way, to spend it on the things they believe in. Now, maybe they can draw a line between companies and people, but I don't know if we're doing that unless 3/4 of the country gets together and says, let's make another constitutional amendment. That seems to be the only path forward on that big thorny question. So there we go. Somebody here in the 314 says, is there really that great of demand for transgender kids to play in girls' sports? And here's where they lose me a little bit. What a waste of time for our Supreme Court. Don't we have bigger fish to fry? Well, to answer your first question, there is not that great of a demand. The numbers are minuscule. It is a very rare occurrence that you see, especially in the K-12 level, a transgender girl trying to play in girls' sports. I would strongly disagree that this is a waste of time for the Supreme Court, or that we have, in their words of the texter, bigger fish to fry. The court exists to advise lawmakers and to translate what the Constitution and the laws have said. We do this whole thing called making laws and going through the whole system that we have here in a representative democracy, in a federalist system, so that we avoid violent conflict. We try to resolve things peaceably by disagreeing constructively with our neighbors. And the courts are an important check in that process. The courts look at this and say, yeah, you can make that law. Nah, you can't really make that one. Or if you want to make that one, you got to come back and try to make it again a little bit more fair because it clashes or collides with the Constitution. So no, I think that actually a lot of state legislatures needed some clear guidance from the Supreme Court on these issues. You can agree or disagree with their outcome. You can agree or disagree with their rationale. The Supreme Court has not always gotten it right. We know that from history. But no, this is time well spent. I mean, this is certainly an important one. And again, the big headline here is that President Trump loses the birthright citizenship push. He wanted to upend and forever change what the Fourth Amendment's promise meant for people who were born in these great United States. Quite the punctuation mark for the Supreme Court heading into the weekend where we'll celebrate the nation's 250th birthday, America 250. And there we go. Let's see. Should we head to break here real quick?
We should do that.
Let's do that.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66 in Wildwood from 3 to 6 p.m. Stop by for great food, cold drinks, and the perfect World Cup pregame atmosphere before Team USA takes on Bosnia and Herzegovina at 7 o'clock. Whether you're heading to a watch party or making Big Chief your game day destination, come hang out with us and kick off an exciting night of soccer the KTRS way. You might want to even ask about their speakeasy.
Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. Summer in St. Louis means your air conditioner basically clocks in with a full-time job. And if your AC is 15, 20, or maybe even 25 years old, it could be working a whole lot harder and costing you a whole lot more than it should. A newer, high-efficiency system from Premier Heating and Cooling can cut cooling costs dramatically compared to older units. In some homes, upgrading from a 20-year-old air conditioner to a modern, high-efficiency system can reduce energy use by 20 to 40%. And even a professional clean and check tune-up can improve efficiency, airflow, and help your system keep up during brutal heat waves. Add in a smart thermostat, and the Department of Energy says homeowners can save another 10% a year on heating and cooling costs. So before your old AC taps out during the hottest week of the summer, call the highly trained team at Premier Heating and Cooling. Financing options available. 636-916-1122. PremierHeatingCooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment. A moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen. A moment to find your dream, or build one. A moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Hi, Matt Kearns, president of STL Fringe. This is our 15th anniversary, and the lineup this year is spectacular. Join me for the celebration August 3rd through 9th at STL Fringe Fest 26 in the beautiful Grand Center Arts District. There you will experience concerts, plays, puppetry, musicals, and even a little burlesque. Perfect for those summer bachelorette parties. Grab passes and tickets today, and I'll see you at the Fringe, stlfringe.org. Use promo code BIG550 at the website.
Guido's Pizzeria and Tapas on the Hill, offering a taste of Spain in the middle of Italy, would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Guido's pays tribute to America's enduring freedom for 250 years and thanks all those that protect and preserve that freedom.
Now back to McGraw, presented by London Chevrolet, the London Autoplex, and London.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
This song's 2 weeks old. An astute observation from Carl the intern.
It's the end of June.
It's not the middle of June.
Now, we played Sunny by Bobby Goldsboro earlier, which talks about the last day of June. So, on theme, but you're right. This song is 2 weeks late.
Yeah. Well, there's a texter who has a curious question.
Uh-oh.
Carl, I hope McGraw brings back a really good gift or bonus for you. What are the odds?
0. You can go to Kalshi right now and bet on that, and there will be 0.
Oh, man. If you guys weren't listening yesterday, I got curious with this whole Kalshi thing. It's one of these prediction markets where you can place a bet on things beyond sports. I suppose sports are part of it, but you can also bet on like political outcomes, geopolitical outcomes.
Most of the things they do is sports currently.
So I thought, let me go on there and I'll go to the actual website and see what some of the most popular bet upon occurrences are. And they wanted like my social security, the last 4 of my social. I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is like people do. I can't believe it. They do this.
Our previous thing that we were talking about at 7:05 about Dan Sullivan in Alaska, I went to Kalshi to see. I don't have a thing, but you can see what the top ones are. Both Dan Sullivans are projected to be in the 4-way ranked choice voting. The Democrat is first. She has a 97% chance. Then the other one, the incumbent Dan Sullivan has like a 90% chance. Then there's another candidate, and then the second Dan Sullivan has a 57% chance of making it.
Did you guys see this?
Kalshi.
There are in Alaska. There's a senator named Dan Sullivan. He's a Republican, and he's facing a challenge from a Democrat named Mary Peltola. And then there's another Republican who's also named Dan Sullivan running in the ranked choice voting, and people are just having a time with that one. So it's interesting. Which Dan Sullivan? I Dan Sullivan, endorsed this message.
Dan S. Sullivan is the incumbent. Dan J. Sullivan is the outlier.
Anyway, we've had a great time with you this morning on the McGraw Show. Mark Maxwell in for McGraw on the Big 550. Frank and Jill up next. They'll keep you company all the way until noon. The big story we've been watching today is the final day of the Supreme Court, and the last decision was a big one. It's one of those decisions that sounds legal and technical at first. You got to brush the cobwebs out of your memory a little bit, try to remember what you learned about in maybe 10th grade American history class. But the 14th Amendment drives at the heart of something that's very personal. Who is an American? President Trump's executive order, when he came back into office in 2025, tried to deny automatic citizenship to some children born in the U.S., specifically children whose parents were here unlawfully or only temporarily. The question for the court, and this is where it gets a little technical, were those children, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States under the 14th Amendment? That's the language. The court said, yes, they are. Chief Justice John Roberts writes for the majority in this 195-page opinion. And his opinion says the rule is simple and deeply rooted. In his words, a child born on American soil and subject to American law was made an American citizen. That means the court is reading the citizenship clause as a broad and sweeping guarantee. It doesn't turn on whether the mom or the dad is a citizen. It doesn't turn on whether the parents are here lawfully. It doesn't turn on whether the parents are here permanently. Roberts makes that point very directly. He says this: words appearing frequently in the executive order, mother, father, lawful, temporary, are absent from the citizenship clause for a simple reason, Roberts says: they did not matter. So the majority spends a lot of time on history, and this is the part that the nerd in me really appreciates. It traces the rule back to common law, then through the Civil War, through Reconstruction, and there's a St. Louis tie. The opinion says Dred Scott, who famously sued for his freedom on the old courthouse in the steps in downtown, just under the shadow of where the arch stands today. Of course, it wasn't there back in the 1850s. The opinion says Dred Scott made citizenship depend on blood, not soil, and that the 14th Amendment was written to reject that. Justice Jackson's concurrence is also important here. She writes that Reconstruction amendments were an anti-caste, anti-subordination reset for the nation, not a mere spot treatment for the dark stain of slavery. So in plain English, she's saying the 14th Amendment was not just about solving one narrow problem from the past. It was also about redefining equality and belonging for the future of America. There were some strong dissents in this opinion. Justice Clarence Thomas argues that the amendment protected people born and domiciled here, but not everyone born here. He writes this, quote, "Blacks were entitled to citizenship because they were Americans." He says the same could not be said for children of temporary foreign visitors. So you're on vacation, you have a kid here, you go back home, you know what I mean? That's what Justice Thomas said there. Justice Kavanaugh landed somewhere in between. He kind of found a middle ground. He argues the executive order cannot stand, but he would decide the case under federal law, not the Constitution. He writes that the constitutional issue is not quite as straightforward, much as we might want it to be. But the majority's answer here is straightforward enough for the country to understand. Children who are born here are subject to our laws, and they are American citizens, rather. Roberts closes with one of the most powerful lines in the opinion here. He says, "Citizenship then and now was the right to have rights. We keep that promise today." That's the heart of the ruling there. That's what we're seeing from the Supreme Court. So an interesting way to kind of close the show.
It was 6-3, by the way.
6-3 ruling. So we know that Kavanaugh and
Roberts for sure.
No, we know that Kavanaugh and Clarence Thomas objected. I'm gonna assume Samuel Alito was the third, just based on the questions that we saw in the arguments leading up to this. I have not seen that part. Let's see if I search for his word. We're doing this quickly.
Live radio, people.
Yeah, it's live radio, baby. Alito's name is showing up in the pages and the footnotes of the dissent.
Here I have it. Thomas, Gorsuch, and Alito were the dissenters.
Oh, and so Kavanaugh also agreed, but had a separate opinion.
Yes, it was 6-2, and then that's why it's 6-2, but it's 6-3 because it was a separate
Kavanaugh
opinion.
concurred, but dissented in part. So Kavanaugh counted as one of the 6 votes. So it was Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch who were opposing. Okay, interesting. There you go. 6-3 with an asterisk. But there you go. Birthright citizenship stands at the Supreme Court. Big news. I do think you're going to get a little more dose of sports, probably some World Cup, maybe some Cardinals preview action with Frank and Jill. The White Sox won again last night. That matters to few people in St. Louis, but matters to me. Big deal. Are you watching the World Cup tomorrow night? That's a big question because America plays Bosnia-Herzegovina, or Bosnia and Herzegovina.
7 o'clock, prime time.
7 p.m.
They did move it because remember yesterday I was saying it was at 5? It was originally supposed to be at 5.
Central?
Yes.
And they moved it back 2 hours.
They moved it to prime time.
I think that this is going to be a big game because if the U.S. loses, they're out.
Right. This is the knockout round.
This is now, this one's for all the Tostitos. It matters now. So in the earlier rounds, you could win one, lose one, and you still might have a shot. Now you lose, you're out.
Lose in the last 8 seconds of the game.
Win or go home, baby. Yeah, and that's last night's games had some wild endings.
None of the 3 games ended in regular time. So the first game ended in injury time, and the other 2 games went to penalty kicks.
Yeah, and that's some of the true fans, the true footballers, the soccer fans will tell you penalty kicks are maybe the worst way to decide a soccer game.
Separate game.
It's a totally different game. But that's, I remember some of the most exciting times for a kid, for like a young fan getting into it. Those are those instant pressure moments where you're living in a pressure cooker. You're on the edge of your seat. It's really hard to recreate that when the whole game, all 90 minutes plus, will be decided with one swift kick.
Oh, no, they had extra time, too, so they played 120 minutes. plus extra time.
Oh, right,
and
because
then
yeah,
they go to
yeah.
penalty
On top of I wasn't considering the stoppage time and then all the extra time after that.
So they played at least 140.
Whew. This is why I play goalkeeper. I don't want to run.
And also, Heidi and Josh will be broadcasting their show live tomorrow from Big Chief Roadhouse.
How cool is that?
So if you get to pregame.
Oh, go pregame with Heidi and Josh. They're fun to hang out with. Go see them. Say hi. Where's that again?
That's the Big Chief Roadhouse.
Big Chief Roadhouse.
Out west.
You can go there, watch the game. You can go to Ballpark Village. You can go all over. I mean, there's got to be great spots. Amsterdam Tavern I think that's the Grove neighborhood. Or
it's
near
on Morgan
Tower
Ford.
Grove.
Tower Grove neighborhood.
Yeah. Over there, they have a lot of soccer fans. So it's going to be a big game tomorrow. I'll be back in the chair for McGraw, trying to just keep this thing warm until he gets back next week. America 250 coming up. Frank and Jill are next. Great hanging out with you guys. Have a great Tuesday.
Hey, Josh Gilbert here. Join Heidi and me this Wednesday as we broadcast live from Big Chief Roadhouse on historic Route 66